4th down and 6. Olbridge got to have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in. Here's Yoxin. Yoxin to the backhand, trying to go to the front. Makes the move and shot, and he scores!
And Racy comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the Warenenko Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey, PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the American Arena League 2 and the Jersey Bearcats. Tonight, the Bearcats take the field for the final time in the regular season as they take on another AAL2 original in the Steel City Stampede. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner and colleague, David Pizzuto, and we are about 20 minutes away from opening kickoff here at Warenenko. As always, we are proud to welcome you in to the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show, a major sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats that has brought you our pregame show for each of the last 3 seasons. And Dave, the Bearcats took care of business last week and locked up the top seed in the East Division. This also means that the road to the AAL2 championship runs through Warenenko. But standing between the Bearcats and their pursuit of a second championship are a Steel City Stampede team that Jersey has become very familiar with the last 3 years.
Joe, the AAL2 is only 3 years old, but we have the longest standing rivalry reborn here on this regular season's final day. It's been a series that's been dominated by the Bearcats after the Stampede beat the Bearcats in the AAL2's first game ever back in 2023. The Bearcats have won every game since in the series, including games the last 2 postseasons, Joe, and a 33-0 win in Pennsylvania earlier this year. While Jersey did wrap up first place in the standings last week with a win over the Outlaws, this one does mean a lot for the Stampede, so we'll see if they can come up with a great showing here and return the favor here in Jersey.
The Bearcats clinched first place in the East last week, but they did so against a shorthanded Pittsburgh Outlaws team that showed absolutely no quit. At times, the Bearcats looked dominant, especially on defense. However, the Outlaws were outscoring Jersey for a portion of the second half until a late Bearcats touchdown put an exclamation point on a 39-14 win. Dave, what did you like that you saw from Jersey last week, and what needs to be improved upon in the final game ahead of the postseason tonight?
Joe, what I like about the Bearcats is what I always like, and that is they don't change who they are. They have an identity, and they stick to it. Conventional wisdom says you can't play 2 quarterbacks. They don't care. You don't run the ball a lot in arena football. They don't care. You can't always go for the home run on first down. They don't care. You can't blitz that much and leave your defensive backs on an island in the secondary. They don't care. And that's what makes them a solid team, Joe. That, and they have adopted a next man up attitude in the face of some injuries this season. There'll be a couple of new faces, in fact, here tonight. Now, all of that said, there is a lot to improve on as they get set for the playoffs, and it has to start tonight. Joe, they had 18 penalties last week, 18. And in their win against the Roughnecks here on PDF a few weeks ago, they had 3 turnovers and 12 penalties. Now, teams like the Bearcats have enough talent to overcome some of those mistakes, but as the games get bigger, your window for playing below your standards gets smaller and smaller. And the Bearcats have to really play a cleaner game here tonight. And if they start beating themselves with turnovers and penalties in the playoffs, they may get derailed. Tonight's a good chance to clean up those mistakes.
Tonight's game marks the 5th time that the Bearcats will face the Stampede here on PDF. And our first ever AAL2 broadcast, as you mentioned earlier, Dave, the Stampede shocked the Bearcats in 2023 with a game-winning touchdown on the game's final play. Jersey then faced them again in the championship on PDF later that year and took the win. Last year, Jersey knocked off Steel City twice on PDF, once in the regular season and again in the postseason. Perhaps most notably, the two most recent meetings between these two teams, including last season's playoff matchup and one game earlier this year, have seen the Bearcats outscore the Stampede 73-0. As we saw earlier, the Stampede come in third in the AAL2 East Division. What needs to happen for the Stampede tonight if they can move up in the standings, and how has this team fared in the postseason during their 2 seasons in the AAL2?
Well, Joe, you see it on your screen. They've been an up-and-down team this year, Joe. But when you talk to people about the Stampede, they all agree that this is a much better team than the team that lost 33-0 to the Bearcats earlier this season. The same way that we were shocked at the 40-0 playoff game last year. They were a much better team than what they showed in that game. The problem is their consistency, Joe. You see it in their record right now, 3-4. Can they play 4 quarters of consistent football, especially against a really good team like the Bearcats? And similarly to the Bearcats is, can they keep their opponents in front of them as opposed to hurting themselves? If the Stampede win tonight, they could finish third in the standings. And if they lose, they have to come right back here in 2 weeks and play Jersey again. So you know what? Treat this game as a dress rehearsal, and 60 minutes you're going to want to repeat in 2 weeks, whether it's here or in South Jersey to play the Roughnecks. Either way, they're going to the playoffs, and we don't expect this team to lay down and lose by 30 again. So they're too good for that. They need to show out tonight.
And with that, our stage is set here from Waranenko. So what Dave and I will do here on the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show is step aside, take a break, and hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll hear from the players and coaches as Cameron Williams will join us from field level with some on-field conversations. Don't go anywhere. You're watching coverage of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2 on the PDF Sports Network.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Jersey Bearcats football is brought to you by Pino's Bakery. Located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, Pino's is your prime stop for specialty cakes, pastries, and deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pino's is where family, tradition, and goodness are a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pino's Bakery.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL2.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email Dave Riemann at rcn.com.
Refined, restorative, results-driven.
At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
KKT, InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star just like the Bearcats.
If you plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials. Check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day, and ticket information, please contact us at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com.
While we have a break in the action, the Jersey Bearcats would like to thank the Union Junior ROTC and the U.S. Army ROTC for their support of the Bearcats and AOL2 football.
And welcome back to the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman here with you alongside David Pizzuto, and we are about to be joined by Cameron Williams, who is down on the field with some of the Bearcats. First up, on the offensive side of the ball, Kyle Ward.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Kyle Ward, wide receiver of the Bearcats. Kyle, you guys are in your last home game of the year, last game of the season. How are you feeling going into this game?
Feeling good, feeling real confident. We got a big win last week. Just trying to finish the season up correctly, going into the playoffs.
100%. You guys got one loss on the season so far. You got a big win last week to make up for that loss a couple weeks ago before the bye week. How do you look to build off this win heading into the playoffs?
We're just looking to build momentum and, ride that momentum into the playoffs going into the next game. So, that's all.
What did you guys focus on during practice this week?
I wasn't here at practice, but I know they were doing a lot of empty, trying to air it out, get our quarterbacks confident, complete passes, and, things of that nature. So just empty, and you're actually going to see me play a little running back today. So, yeah.
Thanks, Kyle. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Cameron. No doubt Kyle is going to be a big part of the offensive game plan in tonight's game. But with that, we're going to switch it over to the defensive side of the ball. Cam standing by with linebacker Nick Price.
Hey guys, I'm here with defensive man Nick Price here. Nick, going into this game is going to be a huge game for you guys. How do you look to win this game?
To be honest, just doing what we've been doing this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does their job, be 1/8.
100%. You guys had a big defensive side of the ball last week. Sure. A couple turnovers. Well, how do you guys look to build off of that and continue that dominant display on defense?
To be honest, like I said before, our success lies in our preparation. You know what I'm saying? Everything we've been preparing for, like I said, everybody just do their job. If we do our job, we come out on top anyway.
100%. Thanks, Nick. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Cameron. And as always, our pregame conversations will end with the Jersey Bearcats head coach. As Dave and I mentioned earlier in the pregame, plenty to like, a lot to work on ahead of this game against the Stampede. Let's hear what the team is looking to correct and what they're looking to build upon from head coach A.J. Roquet.
What's up, guys? Here with Coach AJ. Coach AJ, huge win last week. Needed that win after the bye week and a loss before the bye week. How do you guys look to go off of that win this week and before playoffs?
We got a couple new faces in, right? We want to be able to get to the quarterback more. We want to be able to, move the ball better. So, get guys in here that can help us out. That's our biggest thing of getting ready for the playoffs.
100%. I know Kyle Ward said he might take some snaps in at running back today. How will you look to utilize him today as the guy behind the quarterback today?
We look to be in the run game the same way we've been all year. Like, we're not stopping. You'll see a lot more empty today. Just to get guys in space. We kind of prepare for this in practice on Tuesday.
100%. You say you're going to still use run the running game very strategically and dominant because you guys use that a lot, especially with Niles Adams. Yep. Will you also look to continue to throw the ball down with Mateo and Chris?
Absolutely. Nothing's going to change on offense. Go get more points.
100%. Thanks, Coach AJ. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cameron. Great job as always. And as we wind down our pregame show, we will throw it to another break. And when we come back, we will be kicking off here live from Warenanko. It's the Bearcats and Stampede coming up after these words. This has been the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show right here on the PDF Sports Network.
If you plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL2.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
And we are back from the Warenenko Sports Arena, just minutes away from kickoff between the Jersey Bearcats and the Steel City Stampede here on the PDF Sports Network. And Dave, earlier during our Brownstone Grill and Metuchen pregame show, we touched upon the implications this game might have on the standings to wrap up the AAL2 regular season. The Bearcats locked into the top seed in the East. Let's talk a bit more about what could happen pending the results in the East Division this weekend.
Yeah, so you see what's going on in the East right now. You got the Jersey Bearcats who are in front. Obviously, they can't be caught. But then you see the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed all within one game of one another. So this game is actually pretty important, not so much for the Bearcats, but for the Stampede. Alex, we'll swap out of this graphic and we'll take a look at what the results of today's games will mean. So there you see it, Joe. If Jersey wins and the War Eagles win and Maryland wins, then the Stampede are coming back here in 2 weeks to take on the Bearcats in a playoff game, obviously. Any other result, so if Jersey wins and the New Jersey Roughnecks beat the Maryland War Eagles, then the Bearcats will play the War Eagles. The Stampede will visit the Roughnecks in South Jersey. If the Stampede win this game, it doesn't matter what happens between Maryland and the Roughnecks. It'll be the Stampede against the Roughnecks and the War Eagles against the Bearcats. Now, Joe, take a look at the asterisk there because the home and away for the War Eagles Roughnecks game will depend on the point differential of how much the War Eagles win by tonight. If they win by 35 or more, chances are they're going to be the home team in 2 weeks. But assuming they win and they don't cover that 35-point spread or so, it'll be a Roughnecks home game. So really what we're looking for here is if Jersey wins and the War Eagles win, any other scenario, Jersey will play the War Eagles. So, Joe, if Jersey, wants the War Eagles next week, they got to take care of business, obviously, because if the Stampede win, well, they'll get the War Eagles as well. So it's a little convoluted, but we'll see. Stampede, what they do tonight really matters for them.
And something else that perhaps is a bit more straightforward that we also touched on during the pregame, the road to the AAL2 championship will run through Warenenko, an opportunity that excites us as the Bearcats will be hosting throughout the playoffs. Warenenko officially will be a neutral site for the championship game, but should the Bearcats make it that far, they will get the opportunity to play the AAL2 championship on their home turf. But Dave, talk a bit more about the playoff format. What do we have coming up next week in terms of AAL2 playoffs and beyond?
Well, next week, Joe, there are no games, okay? So there are no games at all Father's Day weekend, but in 2 weeks, we'll have the North playing in their championship. That's Pittsburgh against Michigan. That's a straight-up one game. Whoever wins is the Northern champion. In 2 weeks, the East will have a semifinal round, and the South will have a semifinal round, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. And then in 3 weeks, we'll get the standings back up if you want. This way we'll just get it up. So you see the East and the South will have a semifinals and a finals round, and then we'll take it from there. We're going to step out, Joe, because of the national anthem, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff structure.
All right, anthem coming up. We'll be right back from Warenenko. And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Just a couple of minutes to go before kickoff between the Bearcats and the Stampede. And Dave, during the pregame, we talked about the extensive rivalry between these two teams. Two AAL2 originals. They've matched up more than any other teams in the history of the AAL2. And we mentioned as well some of the history between these two sides. But looking ahead just a bit, you said it as you broke down the standings and what's to come potentially in the playoffs. If the Stampede do not win today, they are back here for a matchup with the Bearcats in a couple of weeks. And if you're the Bearcats, obviously this is a game that, regardless of the impact in the standings, of which there is none for you, you've locked up the top spot, but regardless of the impact on your side, this is not a game that you're looking at and looking past. This is a game you expect to win. It's a game where you expect to come out and perform well, especially what we've seen against the Stampede from this Bearcats team earlier this season. How important is it for the Bearcats to get those elusive 4 quarters of consistent football? Last week, strong first half, perhaps not so good in the second half. You mentioned the 18 penalties as well, and they were losing the second half until the final minutes of that game. So definitely things they can improve. I think they're looking for an effort a lot more like that dominant first half against the Outlaws last week.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. And I do think this is a big game for the Bearcats. You know, it's their final test before the playoffs start. And you know, we know, Joe, we've covered a lot of football now on PDF, not just arena, but the outdoor game as well. And, you know, when teams know they're making the playoffs, you know, they save themselves for that playoff game. And, you know, if you're going to play the Stampede again in 2 weeks, then this is a dress rehearsal for that. So do you send this team back on the bus saying, uh-oh, we're in trouble in 2 weeks? Or do you send them back on the bus with a lot of confidence and saying, hey, we can roll with this team, we can hang with this Bearcats team? Like they've done in the past, too, during the regular season. So it is a big game for the Bearcats, and I think despite the wins in the last couple of times that we've seen them here on PDF, there's a lot still to clean up, and there's a lot that gives you doubts going into the playoffs. Talent-wise, Joe, there really isn't any doubt. I think this Bearcats team is super talented. I know we shared that earlier in the season. They are going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. But if they don't play well in the playoffs, absolutely another team can hang with them. And Maryland showed that. Maryland is 3-4 this season, and one of those 3 wins was against the Bearcats. So anything can happen, especially in the playoffs. So I think this is a really big game for them.
And something that we talked about a couple of years ago when the Bearcats lost to Stampede after week 1, we brought it up several times. Was it a benefit to that team to have that shocker in their system so early, get it out of the way, and realize nothing can be taken for granted? You can't get complacent out there, regardless of the score or how much time is on the clock. Does that loss to the War Eagles serve a similar purpose?
I think so. And A.J. Roquet talked about it on the Bearcats Blitz show just yesterday, Joe. He talked about how that was a little bit of a wake-up call, and just the same way the Stampede loss a couple of years ago was a big wake-up call to them, because any team can be beat no matter how good you are. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, or when talent beats themselves. So the Bearcats are really looking for a game in which they are not their own opponent. And I think that if they do that, they are a very confident team, and they should be. But I do think that loss really, you know, made a lot of these guys realize, hey, if we don't play well any given Saturday, we're going to be ousted in this playoff. So it was a wake-up call for sure. And, you know, the Bearcats made some personnel changes. Let's not forget, too, they added some new faces on this team who are playing in this game. You know, some of them in their first or second game. They're going to get reps here. So next man up, if you can't do the job, somebody else will take your place. That's the philosophy the Bearcats have. And like I said, Joe, they don't change who they are. They don't change their identity. That's part of their identity.
Self-inflicted wounds, definitely a concern for this Bearcats team. And following this kickoff, we'll talk about a couple of notable absences for the Bearcats in this game. That may be a bit of a concern to them entering tonight's matchup against the Stampede, but that will have to wait as we are about to have kickoff here from Waranenko. The players look ready. The music is still playing. They might be waiting for that track to stop. And there's the whistle from the official.
Yep.
All right.
And now it does.
Kickoff on its way from Sel Johnson. It skips toward the sideboards and was pulled in by Piper. And he lowers his shoulder out across the 20. And just like that, the Bearcats begin their first possession in plus territory at the Stampede 17.
Yeah, we say this all the time during Bearcats home games this season, is that sometimes it doesn't matter what happens on the coin toss, because usually teams defer and want the ball in the second half. The Bearcats, if they win the toss, they want the ball first. And it's for this reason. They get themselves started in great field position, 17-yard line of the Stampede. They want to put the foot on the neck early of Steel City. This is one way to do it, Joe. You set up shop on the plus side of the 25, and you're only 17 yards away from the score.
And we saw it last week. Early in the game, they missed a couple of opportunities to deal the knockout blow, and that gave the Outlaws a bit of juice entering the second half. It will be Mateo Rodriguez starting the game at quarterback for the Bearcats. 2 receivers wide, and now a third in motion. And the first play is a quarterback keeper, room to run, and Rodriguez is pushed out of bounds right near the sticks. We'll see if they give him a first down.
And helping to sell that fake, Joe, was Kyle Ward, who is playing running back here, as we are going to go quickly, so no instant replay for this one. We'll see what they got here on 1st and goal.
First down, Jersey on the read option. This time they will hand off to Ward. He makes one man miss and goes down. Tackle made just inside the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal, Bearcats from the 4.
Yeah, and that's one of the omissions from the lineup here tonight, Joe, is Nas Adams, not dressed for this game for no other reason than just simply not dressing. But he is not in uniform, and Kyle Ward is going to take the majority of the snaps at running back.
No back here on this play. Ward in the slot to the right. That forces some personnel movement on the side of the Stampede. 2nd and goal. And a delay of game is called against the offense. And there it is, Dave. An early penalty against the Bearcats. Another self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, and Joe, last week the Bearcats had 4 penalties just at the snap with the sink of the men in motion. They did not have a delay of game penalty, but yeah, those pre-snap penalties, they were a real thorn on the side of the Bearcats last week, and it was something that they really wanted to clean up. But now they have to start 5 yards behind. It's still inside the 10 here. 2nd and goal.
2 men in motion. Handoff taken by Stewart, looking for room. Won't find any as he is tracked down and forced to the turf by Gordy Corbin.
Yeah, that was a nice job, and Gibson was there as well to help finish him off. But, that time the Stampede really stayed true to their lanes. They didn't get out. They didn't over-pursue the rusher. And, dancing a little bit in the backfield was Stewart, and just couldn't find that hole that he was looking for. And now we have a crucial 3rd down from the 6.
3rd and goal, 6-yard line. Ward back in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right of Rodriguez. And 2 men in motion. Rodriguez looking to his left, has time. Clean pocket, steps up, looks to run, breaks 1 tackle, dives for the goal line, and the signal is touchdown.
Just did make it by lowering that shoulder and heading towards the goal line. Brilliant job by Rodriguez. He had to make the linebacker miss right in the middle of the field. We'll take a look at it. There was a really good chance for the Stampede to stop Mateo at about the 5-yard line, but look at the move that he makes right in the middle of the field, right here. Just a stutter step, and instead of making a short tackle, Gordy Corbin had to lunge for him, and that was the difference.
Well, Corbin had a tackle earlier in the drive, could not wrap up Rodriguez on that play. And the Bearcats go straight down the field on their opening drive. They put up 6, and we'll have a chance for 1 more here as they will attempt the extra point.
Storego was missing in action last week. Didn't dress for the Bearcats. He's back. And so are the extra points. It's 7-0.
Anthony Storego up and good. Bearcats lead it 7-0. Storego fired up. And Jersey's off to a nice start, much like last week's game.
Yeah, well, you know what, Joe? It helps when you only have to go, 15, 16, 17 yards for a touchdown. And on a big 3rd down play, you have a dynamic quarterback who can make things happen with his arm and with his legs. We talk so often, Joe, once you're inside the 10, how crowded that end zone is for a quarterback. It's really hard to see through the line. It's hard to get those lanes. You can't use the fade route in the corner of the end zone. That's off the table. So to have a quarterback who can tuck it down and make a guy miss in the defensive backfield, that's huge. And the Bearcats just, it's another tool in their arsenal that they can point to. It's the reason why they're up by a score.
And the absence of Nas Adams certainly impacts the play calling a bit down around the goal line. He's a very north-south runner down there, and a power runner that can just push the pile into the end zone if necessary. As the Bearcats are waiting to kick this one off, the Stampede still shuffling personnel around.
Yeah, they had 2 guys coming in late, but they only had 2 guys at the 10-yard line, Joe. It would have been prime position to onside kick, but they won't do it now.
They have one man back deep. I believe that is Boogie Weidman waiting for it. It bounces into his hands. He's out of the end zone, trapped inside the 5 with nowhere to go. 3 Bearcats bring him down, and that's a good start for Jersey on special teams.
Yeah, Stampede will have to start inside the 5-yard line, and what a difference, right, Joe? You get the opening kickoff. You only have to go 17 yards for a touchdown. The Stampede get it. Look at this nice kick. They let it hit the turf, and that's the Achilles heel sometimes. The Bearcats get down there quickly. The first one down there was J.J. Ramirez-Rojas, who made his Bearcats debut last week, one of those new faces who's going to get right into the game, and made a great tackle inside the 5, and the Stampede have to go 46 yards for their touchdown.
And you know Coach K loved the outcome of that kickoff, pinning the Stampede deep inside their own territory, in stark contrast to what we saw for the Bearcats at the start of their first drive, deep in Stampede territory. Gordy Corbin, also the quarterback for the Steel City Stampede. He sends a man in motion, fakes the handoff, and runs. He lowers his shoulder and takes a big hit as he's brought down at the 10.
Yeah, that was Barry Turner who finished him off with the huge hit. Nick Price was the first one to wrap up, but he's going to be really close to actually, no, he's got about 6 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 4. But still, a good job by Corbin. It looked like it was a designed run from the get. Never did look downfield. A nice polish there by Turner.
2nd down and 4 for the Steel City offense on their opening drive. One man in the backfield alongside Corbin, 3 receivers wide. 2 near side, 1 far side. Motion man out of the slot was Mojica, and the handoff is taken underneath. Duke Chilton brought down after a gain of about 3.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of Bearcats opponents have not been able to do early in games, Joe, is run the football. And I really like the fact that the Stampede ran their first 2 plays because, you know, the Bearcats love to pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, Joe, and they do it better than anybody, really. And, you know, these runs, they soften up that defensive line a bit so that they have to think about the run on a play like this on 3rd and 1.
And if you're the Stampede here, I think you need to make a statement here, run it up the gut on 3rd and short. Challenge this Bearcats defense. Show you can pick it up, because if you can't pick these up, you aren't going to win. They faked the handoff, and able to get away was Corbin. I thought he was dead to rights. Nice move, but a flag in the offensive backfield.
Yeah, and it came very late after some protesting by both sides. Jarris Rogers was in the backfield, Joe. Another new face for the Bearcats, number 34. He actually wore number 13 last week, but look how he gets into the backfield. He doesn't finish the tackle right there, but he gets blocked in the back, it looked like, and it's going to bring things back. Still a nice job by Corbin, though, to duck out of trouble and get that 1st down, but the penalty rears its ugly head again.
Now, I like the call of a run play. I'm not sure about the read option. Just pounded up the gut. If they handed it off, they had it.
Right.
It wasn't a big game, but it was enough.
I agree with you, Joe. I really do. I think they felt like maybe the misdirection would catch the Bearcats over pursuing on the inside. But either way, now it's a 3rd down, and you think an obvious passing situation for the first time, I might add, as well. It's 3rd and 10.
And if you can shorten the game, if you're Steel City, I think that works to your advantage, but not in a situation where you pick up a holding call on what would have been a 1st down run. 7.5 to go at the midway point of the opening quarter. 3rd and long, Steel City. Looking to throw. Corbin, sidearm delivery, caught. And that's good for a 1st down and more. They got just enough. 1st down, +1 on the reception. Sel Johnson picks up 10.
Yeah, and he got him in stride, too. Now, there is a flag, Joe, in the backfield yet again. But that was a nice read by Corbin as well. Look at this. He sees the pressure, sling that sucker outside. And Johnson was met in stride enough to get the 1st down. Now, the ball has been spotted at the 17, and for now we have a 1st down. So maybe that penalty was on the Bearcats and it was declined, or they're going to add a few yards to this.
And they are going to add a few more. So good-looking throw there by Corbin. He didn't have another option. He got the ball out quickly, and he did it in an arm slot that did not allow the defender to interrupt that throw. Not only that, but he had plenty of zip on that ball to get it to Johnson before the defensive back could close that space and make the tackle. That's a nice-looking pass play, the first completion of the game for the Stampede.
Especially since the Bearcats brought a blitz as well. Justin Piper came in from the linebacker position to be that fourth rusher.
Bacon was in motion pre-snap, and a flag comes out. Call was false start against Steel City, and I say it all the time, Dave, when you're looking at a quarterback and you're really trying to gauge how good he is, what they do under pressure tells you so much, and that's a good start for Corbin with that throw under immense pressure facing the blitz.
Yeah, absolutely, and now you wonder on 1st and 15 if they have to go back to the pass or if they can use the run. That was going to be a passing play for the Stampede, so they felt pretty good about their last play. But again, these pre-snap penalties, we saw it derail the Bearcats last week at times. We'll see if it throws a monkey wrench here on 1st and 15.
Just over 5.5 to go in the opening quarter. Bearcats lead 7-0. First down and 15. Pre-snap motion again. Bacon for Steel City. Corbin throwing his way, and it falls incomplete. Just over the top of double coverage.
Yeah, the timing was just off just a little bit. The safety came bearing down, but if that is put in a perfect window, it probably leads to a score. But that one was a little too far ahead in the middle of the field for Macon, and maybe towards the sideline would have been a better route. But again, Joe, on an obvious passing down, the Bearcats sent in the extra rusher for the fourth rusher. They want to get to the quarterback. We've heard A.J. Roque say that in these pre-interview with Cameron Williams a little earlier in the pregame show, and they're going to try and stick with that and get some pressure on. We do have a timeout, I believe, by the Stampede, or it might be the first quarter timeout. We'll see.
It looks that way. So while we have a break in the action, we want to remind you that this first quarter is brought to you by Pino's Bakery, located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, New Jersey. Pino's is your prime stop for specialty cakes and pastries, as well as deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pino's is where family, tradition, and goodness is a daily thing. Visit Pino's at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at www.pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pino's.
Yep, and Pino's is sponsoring our first event, which I think might be kicking a field goal, Joe, and so we'll keep their graphic up here for Pino's. But, Joe, we should mention, last week we had a lot of trouble with the internet connectivity here at Warananko and Roselle. We usually do here from time to time. We have dropped our frame rate for this one to 720, so hopefully you folks at home are watching a clear broadcast without interruption. But regardless of that, we are going to be uploading a full 1080p 60 version of this game at the conclusion of this game later on this evening. So something to look forward to there as we make sure it's like a punt like a Bearcat, Joe, for this one.
I was about to say, is he going to drill that kick from the opposite 5? We had some impressive kickers last week, Dave. 2 put it through. 1 in very unorthodox fashion.
Absolutely.
After a couple of whiffs, he drilled it with the left foot.
It's like a baseball player, It doesn't matter what you do in the first 2 swings. That third swing is one that matters.
That's right.
This is like a version of the punt, pass, kick competition that we sometimes see here. See who punts it the farthest.
Ooh, the ceiling got him.
Got him.
That ceiling's a menace. And speaking of the ceiling, that first throw by Corbin deep down the field, so the second throw, that deep ball, managed to stay underneath the ceiling and drop in over the top of the defense. Just a bit overthrown, but it's not easy to do that. I like what I've seen from him on the first 2 throws.
I sure do too, Joe. I think that's the mark of a good, confident quarterback who's done this before. He's been in the room before, and he's showing it, and, has gotten the pressure in his face too. They only have the 3 down linemen, and when you're bringing 4 guys in, it's simple arithmetic. You're getting one more blitzer coming in unabated to the quarterback. So you got to make the read quick, and you got to throw it hot, and that's exactly what he did.
And we'll see if the Bearcats continue to bring pressure as they have. And you said it, Dave. Conventional wisdom tells you can't blitz as often as the Bearcats do. Well, early in this game, they've brought the blitz plenty.
Yeah, they sure do. But, that also tells you how confident they are that they're going to to put pressure on the quarterback and how confident they are in their defensive backfield to make sure that if they're left out on an island, they'll be fine and they'll make the plays. So, with Pusey on one corner and Turner on the other, they feel pretty good about themselves, this team. And, of course, they got the safety help back deep if they need it as well.
We are just about set to resume action with 4:43 to go in a very quick-moving first quarter. I mentioned it before, Steel City keeping the ball on the ground really shortens the game, and I think that plays to their benefit. The question mark then becomes, can they keep up with the Bearcats scoring and get enough stops to keep this game close for 4 quarters?
That's right. Well, they had some extra time to think about this 2nd and 15.
2 motion men pre-snap. Corbin throws over the middle, complete. Bacon taken down at midfield. They'll spot this one at the 25.
Yeah, good job by Shaheem Bacon to come up with that in the middle of the field. You know when you catch that ball, there's probably going to be someone on top of you right away. Sometimes planting you to the ground ferociously, but it's just a good job of securing the ball first and then absorbing the hit. Nice play. It gets 12 out of the 15 that they need. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
So they'll give them the Bearcats 23. 3rd down, and it looks like a long 3. Maybe close to 4. Same formation once again. 4 receivers out there for Steel City. 2 in motion pre-snap. Corbin looking downfield, tucks it. Running out of room, makes a man miss, turns upfield, and picks up the first down as he is brought down inside the Bearcats' 15-yard line. They'll spot this one at the 12.
Well, all credits to Corbin that time, making a couple of guys miss, but he did have Darnell Weidman wide open near the first down marker, Joe. Weidman just wanted to sit down right there and get the easy first down. We'll get another look at it here as the Stampede are still in their huddle, but take a look at Weidman at the top of your screen. He's going to camp out right at the first down marker for an easy first down, but Corbin just didn't see him and ran the opposite way.
And I think that QB spy took his eyes off his receivers downfield, Dave. Yeah. If there's not that extra man in the middle, perhaps that receiver is covered, but I think if that man's not there and the quarterback has some more time, maybe his eyes downfield, or maybe his eyes get wide and he jets up the middle for a score. So you don't really know how the presence of that defender changes the play, whether or not he's there, but on that particular play, Corbin able to make him miss and pick up a few extra yards. He's done a lot with his legs, has done some good things with his arm. It's been a good first drive for Steel City and a very long first drive for Steel City as the clock is stopped at 3:09.
I think the Stampede might have called a timeout, Joe. I have a feeling Stampede have called a timeout. I don't think this was a timeout called by the Bearcats because they didn't even get back to their coach to huddle up. The Stampede have. So this is a timeout by the Stampede, so they have a 2 remaining. And, yeah, Joe, you're right. Corbin's ability to escape the pocket, get some things with his legs is really adding another dimension to this Stampede offense that the Bearcats really haven't had to deal with in a little bit.
We've seen dynamic playmaking from both signal callers early in this game tonight. This time Corbin will hand it off. And powering forward for about 3 on that carry was Chilton.
Yeah, so good job again to just advance the ball 3 or 4 yards. It'll be a 2nd down and about 5 here, Joe. He actually got...
Yeah, they gave it 5.
Yeah, good couple of yards after first contact. And, to me, if I'm Coach Matt Santiago, that's the one thing that really makes me happy. When you could hand the ball off and start getting 3, 4, 5-yard runs from your running backs against this Bearcats front 3, that is a win every single day. So, I think the Stampede will continue to stay with that.
Rowan Ramirez and Young, a very stout defensive front for Jersey. Not easy to run on them. And they will hand off to Chilton again. He cuts it back, makes a man miss, gets a block from Corbin, and he's back to the line of scrimmage. Bearcats want a flag. It looked like Ramirez was asking for it on the defensive line.
Yeah, he was looking for the hold there, and that time it took Barry Turner coming from his cornerback position to step up and play the run. He gives up some size to the running back here, but you can see Price. Good shot there. Yeah, I don't know about the holding on Ramirez, Joe. Looked like a pretty clean hit on him. But they didn't get anything on that play, so it'll be 3rd down and 5.
And how about Chilton with some nifty footwork on that run, some power running on the down before. We'll see what the Stampede do here on 3rd and about 5. Once again, pre-snap motion And they will hand off. Chilton up the middle, fighting forward, but he does not have enough. He looks to be a yard or two short, and that will bring up fourth.
Yeah, he got stood up right at the 5-yard line, so it'll be fourth down and 2 coming up, and a big play here. But on 4th and 2, Joe, you have a lot of options. You obviously have Corbin coming out of the backfield and taking it himself on the keeper. You could try one more time to give it to your big running back, Chilton. Hope he can dive forward for a couple of yards just like he did right there. Or you do have the passing game as well. So let's see what the Bearcats do defensively as well as Piper comes racing out to the sideline.
If they weren't in the middle of the field, I'd love a speed option here, but you can't run that from the middle of the field in Arena. It's too tight. Final minute, first quarter, 4th down, Stampede. Once again, pre-snap motion, and keeping it is Corbin. He nearly got away, but is brought down for a big loss. He goes backwards for 5. And the Bearcats defense with a big play on 4th will get the ball back with 37.4 to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, another option play, Joe, and you wonder, Ramirez was in good position in case the handoff was indeed handed off, and just nowhere to go for Corbin. So the Bearcats, they bend. They do not break with 37 seconds left in the first.
It is tough to run a read option in that situation, Dave.
I agree.
That's why I mentioned if you're tight to one sideline, if you're snapping that from the hash, I like the speed option there because you have a quarterback that you know can move and you have a back that has shown the ability to break some tackles, but that's asking a lot from your offensive line, from your quarterback, and from your halfback to try and run it up the middle against this Bearcats defense on 4th and 2. And it was a long 2. It wasn't like the last one that was 4th and a short yard.
Right.
Big difference, and the Bearcats stand strong on 4th down. A late arrival onto the field for the Stampede as well. Rob Davis got on late as that pass is complete in traffic. And taken down was Manny Stewart. I think he might have enough for a first. If not, he's a yard short.
Yeah, Rodriguez had to thread the needle right there, Joe. That was just beyond the fingertips of the defensive back. And again, the Bearcats want to work quickly here, so we'll see if we can get this replay in before the play. Good little snap throw and caught the window pane.
Well, the man who got on at the last second, Davis, almost broke that one up. Stewart in motion pre-snap, throwing is Rodriguez, complete right sideline. And an immediate tackle sends the receiver, Hezekiah Frazier, out of bounds, and that will do it for the opening quarter. We are through one from the Waranenko Sports Arena. The Bearcats lead the Stampede 7-0. And with the end of the quarter, it's time to hear from Cameron Williams. We'll throw it down to field level where Cameron is waiting. Cam, take it away. We will take just a moment to make sure we get Cameron's audio connected to us. Hopefully we can sort that out. We're working on it. But we do not have Cameron, so we may have to wait to hear from him. And we've got nothing, so we apologize for that. Cameron will make his way back, and we'll try and get that sorted out. And if we are able to sort things out with his receiver, we will hear from him during our second quarter timeout. So with that, the second quarter is about to begin here from Waranenko. The Bearcats will have a second down at about 5 or 6. Sticks moved up just a bit. Looks like a second down at about 4 now. Either way, it is Jersey football, and they had to flip the field. So it is second down and 6. But Bearcats have it. They lead this one 7-0. Their second possession of the game will continue here as we have Cameron back up with us here at our perch. They're going to take a look at his audio transmitter, so I'll be with you calling the action as Dave attends to Cameron's audio. Bearcats with trips to the left. 3 receivers to the left of Mateo Rodriguez. Kyle Ward in the offensive backfield as the second quarter begins. Man in motion wide, and the handoff goes to Ward. He's racing up the sideline, and he's pushed into the boards, past the sticks. First down, Bearcats. Pre-snap, Frazier was the motion man, and that helped draw the defense away from that far sideline. That gave Ward the running room. A good block as well by Manny Stewart on the play, helping to set that edge. Dave? You think we have Cameron for the second timeout?
I think we do.
Well, we're green now. We were not green before.
I hope he took the right mic, though. I hope I gave him the right mic. But we'll see. First timeout of the second, we're going to go back to Cameron.
All right. Ward on the toss, breaks a tackle and 2. He's inside the 5 and down at the 1. Just short of the goal line. Coach Roque wants a touchdown, and the officials say hold it right there. It's going to be first and goal, but it looks like that one may have been called back on a penalty, and I think they got a hold there. Number 55 on the offensive line for Jersey, guilty of the holding. We do not have a 55 on our roster.
Someone's wearing a different number, Joe. We'll have to figure out who. It's not Rittman. It's not, I don't think it's Nelson or Rinsky. So we'll have to see who's wearing the different number than usual. But, yeah, that's a backbreaker. You know, that's the play that Nas Adams ran for a score on the first drive of the game against the Outlaws last week. And, you know, we talk about Nas Adams being that power guy, Joe, a big boy football. Well, Kyle Ward's easy to lose in the middle of some of those bodies. You know, he doesn't have as big a frame as Adams. But, man, if he gets a head of steam into the second level, he pinballs around. He's very dangerous.
Well, we've seen it. Kyle Ward can do it all. Swiss Army knife kind of player. Rodriguez looking downfield, throws deep into coverage and incomplete.
Yeah, right at the shoestrings of Stewart. And, you know, it's not the worst ball in the world. If Stewart lays out, maybe he has a chance to get that diving. But still, that ball had a lot of zip on it.
Well, that throw had to be near perfect to keep it away from Justin Haynes, as this will be 2nd and 20 coming up here, following that first down penalty and the incomplete pass. But Dave, that was a high-risk throw from Rodriguez. He put it in a spot where the defender couldn't get it, but that also cost his man a chance. That is a great show of confidence as a quarterback to throw that ball into traffic that way, and Rodriguez didn't hesitate. You like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, trusts his arm, trusts his eyes, and trusts his arm to do what his eyes are telling him to do. That's a good, confident throw.
Ward, the motion man, pre-snap. Rodriguez looking his way. Ward open, but the throw is behind him, incomplete.
I wonder if Ward lost track of it, Joe, a little bit, because it looked like it kind of jumped up and bit him a little bit. Looked like that ball was going to easily meet him in stride, and Ward was kind of traveling towards the corner of the end zone instead of towards the middle of the end zone. We'll get another look at it real quick. But looked like the ball was there, Joe, and Ward just might have lost track of it. Yeah, see,
it was there for him. He could have made the catch. It was just a bit behind him, but
yeah,
maybe if he turns sooner toward the football, he can make that adjustment. As you said, Dave, he got around on it just a bit late, and that cost him an opportunity.
That's a huge play here for the Stampede defense here to force a 4th and long if there's nothing converted here, and I think we're going to have a timeout here by the Bearcats. So with the timeout, we'll go downstairs to Cam. If we see him, there he is.
All right, let's take it away.
Yeah, guys, Bearcats up 7-0 at the first halftime here. After the halftime, we're in the second quarter here, guys. A lot of penalties have come down both sides of the ball. A big one on the last one where Mateo they had a big run and actually got called back on a big-time penalty. There's a lot of static in between what's going on. A lot of defensive linemen having their hands out on the field. The Stampede are wondering the same question with the officiating. But, guys, it's looking good so far. The defense made a big-time stop on the last drive. But the Stampede has been very, very aggressive on the offensive side, wasting a lot of time on the clock. The defense has to corral that and get the ball back quicker next time. Guys, back to you.
All right, Cam, thank you. Audio situation all sorted out. That's good to see. Just in time for a performance from the Lady Bearcats. But, Dave, as the Lady Bearcats take the field and we have our second quarter timeout, it is all about fitness. And coming up, we will have a contest featuring some contestants doing their own thing. But that contest will be sponsored by Infinite Athletic Training located in Piscataway, New Jersey. They're also part of our second quarter giveaway at Waranenko, the Electrolyte Boost. Imagine hydration, but without the water. Get your performance back on track and get boosted with the Electrolyte Boost. For samples, fundraising for your team, or to purchase packets, contact Jermaine Sanders, co-owner of the Jersey Bearcats, at 201-667-6374, or email Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com. Let's make sure we stay fit after all these great snacks at Warenenko with the Infinite Athletic Training Boost. www.infiniteathletictraining.com.
All right, Joe, and that was actually a Bearcats timeout, Joe, too. So now they're down to 2 in this quarter as well. But it's a big decision for them here to try to get at least half of this back to set up an easier 4th down.
3rd and 20, 2 men in motion. Rodriguez looking left, throws across the middle, wide open man, complete, but there is a flag down as the Bearcats' Javon Thomas is in. We will see if this one is going to be called back.
If it is called back, it'll be a 3rd down and 30 instead of a touchdown, and it takes points off the board.
The Bearcats think they have a touchdown.
Ooh, it might be against the Stampede.
They do. It is a Bearcats touchdown.
Well, I wonder what the call was, Joe, because there wasn't a real call for the penalty either on that play. Let's see if we could just see what's going on here. I don't really know. I don't see anything going on.
Yeah. Flag came out in the area of holding, which led me to believe it was coming back, but give Javon Thomas a Bearcats touchdown. Make that Javon Thomas, excuse me. He's into the end zone, and Jersey now has a 2-score lead, 13-0.
Yeah, and, if you're the Stampede, you have to start worrying about your tackling, Joe. That's the 2nd time, as we see the extra point here first. It is good, but it's the 2nd time we've seen the Stampede let the ball carrier kind of dip out of a couple of tackles. A lot of short tackles, too. 1 and 2 white jerseys failing to take Thomas down there, and he gets through. You should not be able to escape arm tackles when you're pinned by the sideboards, Joe. Let's see that replay one more time, Joe. But if you have Thomas by the boards there, you've got to drill him out of bounds. There's no excuse for just letting him cut out of some arm tackles there and letting him go. The same way, there's no excuse for letting Kyle Ward rip into the middle of your defensive secondary for a touchdown earlier in the drive. Let's take a look again, and we'll take a look at 2 things. We'll take a look at what happened here at the line of scrimmage to warrant the flag, and then we'll take a look at the escapability of Thomas if we get to it in time. Let's see.
We're getting there.
A little bit extra slow motion here, but that's all right. We're going to take a look. Maybe it was a hands to the face, Joe, defensively, is all I could think about. But you got 3 guys in the secondary just kind of looking, and guys giving up on the play in the back. That's not a good look for the Stampede on that play. It's not a lot.
You can't give up a completion that big on 3rd and 20. And I think what happened earlier in the drive with the shot downfield definitely impacts you as a defense, because you see Kyle Ward get behind you. They had the touchdown, the throw just a bit off the mark, and then perhaps you cheat back a little bit and leave that receiver open as this kick skips to the arms of Bacon. He deals a stiff arm and is finally met by a host of tacklers at the 20.
Yeah, good job by the Bearcats again, staying disciplined where they need to be on the field, and they stood up Bacon and right at the 20-yard line. But Stampede in a bad spot here, Joe. They fell to the Bearcats 33-0 earlier this season, so they haven't scored now in 5+ quarters. They had a really, really good first offensive drive that stalled out inside the 5. And on that last defensive series, they just didn't look that good. I mean, if the Bearcats had not committed that penalty, that would have been an easy 6. But let's see if the Stampede can get a little bit of the swagger back they had offensively, and if that can help them defensively as well.
But we often talk about, on the offensive side of the ball, the big plays that the Bearcats are able to connect on. On that drive, it may have been the big plays they didn't connect on that really set them up to hit the big one.
Yeah, true.
It is now Steel City football, trailing by 14. Once again, 2 men in motion pre-snap. Corbin looking, sidearm delivery, and straight through the hands of Sel Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, that one should have had it. It was right above his helmet, and he's still looking at his gloves there, but not a bad thought by Corbin just to wing that right on the side, get yourself an easy 3 to 4 or 5 yards, set yourself up better on 2nd down. Now, Joe, I believe we have the official timeout of the 2nd quarter. So
a second quarter timeout.
Absolutely. Why don't we throw it to break while we have the timeout?
Let's do it.
You plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official.
And we are back from Warananko at the conclusion of our second quarter timeout. Once again, Infinite Athletic Training sponsoring our second quarter timeouts. We got them in a bit early as the Lady Bearcats performed earlier in the quarter. But as the action resumes here in the second, we have 8:47 to go until halftime. And all of a sudden, Dave, the sense of urgency for the Stampede dialed up just a bit, trailing by 14.
Yeah, no question. It's only their second offensive drive of the game, but when your opponent is 2 for 2 on their side, it puts the pressure on.
Corbin going deep, has a man open, and unable to make the sliding grab was Ant Mojica. They had a chance there to cut the Bearcats' lead to 8.
That was a good throw that time by Corbin. Mojica's got to come down with that one, Joe. I know it's hard to see it over top of the cornerback, Pusey, but he had the step that he needed. There's the one step you need, and that one should have been caught, and it should have been 6 points.
That's one you have to have if you're Steel City, and just like that, it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
2 completions that should have been on the first 2 downs.
Yep.
And that's certainly a false start.
Yeah, and it's because Bacon is not lined up with the other wide receiver. So Bacon started about a yard ahead of the opposite receiver on the opposite side, so he was a yard ahead of the play. And for the second time, the Stampede have committed a pre-snap penalty that backs them up again, so it'll be 3rd and 15.
We are approaching the midway point of the second. 7:40 to go, clock ticking. Bearcats leading by 14, and Steel City in dire need of a big completion here on 3rd and long.
Yep, and, if you're Corbin again, you have the ability to kind of scamper out of the backfield. I'm going to be looking squarely at the Bearcats' defensive side to see if they bring in that 4th rusher on an obvious passing down, or if they're going to start respecting the legs of Corbin.
2 receivers in motion again. Corbin, pump fakes, tries to get away, and he cannot. Keemon Coleman wraps him up for the sack, and it will be a 4th down and a mile, about 22 to go for a first.
Yep, and he was the blitzer, Joe. Check him out in the middle of your screen. Keemon Coleman, he was right by the speaker. There he comes, unblocked, because you only had the 3 down linemen. There was no running back help, and so it's 1v1 at that point. If Corbin is able to make Coleman miss, maybe he's able to scamper out and get 5, 10, 15 yards out of that. But that time, Keemon Coleman, the veteran, takes care of business, checks the box, and gets himself a sack. It'll be 4th and 22.
Aaron Stallings was shaken up on that play. He's off the field and walking under his own power. He looks okay. And something not to be lost in that play, Dave, is how easy it would have been for Coleman to leave his feet on that pump fake. And if he does, there is plenty of running room on the right side of the field for Corbin. So by staying on his feet, Coleman ensured the sack and did not give Corbin the chance to escape. Now, we say it all the time. We don't expect punts. There really isn't much benefit to punting with the low ceiling. You can't get it very far on a low-line drive, and Stampede forced it to going for it here on 4th and an eternity, giving the Bearcats now a really good opportunity to get this stop and quickly make it a 3-score game. Yeah, and obviously you want to get the first down here, but really what's more important is getting this ball out to, the 20 to 25 midfield range, so, you don't put your defense back on the field in a 1st and goal situation. And you can't fall into the trap the Stampede fell into and give a huge shell in coverage. And they may have a safety here as that's thrown into the ceiling. Well, Corbin did the only thing that was wise, and he threw it away, and the Bearcats wanted an in-the-grass safety call, but they're not going to get it. They were darn close, Dave. Yeah, they were close, but again, Joe, same thing. Keemon Coleman comes in on the blitz. He's the extra rusher. There you see, and he just wins the battle, right? He doesn't end up making the tackle, but he forces Corbin to start backpedaling, and Corbin has no choice but to throw it up into the netting. I don't know if he even had a target there, Joe, or not, but the worst-case scenario here, the Bearcats have a 1st and goal to start off this drive. A bad snap completely derailed that play, Dave. When you're a quarterback there, you need to get a look downfield and see where do I have an option to throw this ball up and avoid the incoming pressure and a potential sack, even a safety. And Corbin never got that chance. He didn't get a chance to look downfield, and I would not be surprised if he had no idea where he was going with that football, because you have to get rid of it. There's no benefit to holding on to that ball, and he did get it out. He avoided the safety, and we'll see if perhaps his defense can pick up the offensive side a bit here as the Bearcats take over. Goal to go just inside of the 10. At least that's where the sticks are. First down will be a keeper for Rodriguez, and the Stampede were not fooled. In on the tackle in the backfield was number 20, Fess Morel. Yeah, he gave Rodriguez a good stick there and made him feel that tackle, and now the ball is still at the same spot, just inside the 10 there, but another option, the call there, and it looked like Ward and Rodriguez were going to the same hole, Joe, and I think that's what really disrupted that play. Here's a situation on the right hash where, I'm a sucker for it, but that speed option to the left. Yeah. Something that we've seen before with this team. Rodriguez looking left, throws end zone, and getting tied up in the boards was Frazier. He was wide open. Yeah, he was, and I was looking at that on the monitor, Joe, just a little bit delayed just to see the play unfold. But, yeah, you're right. Just came open there, and the timing off again. It'll be 3rd and goal. He was all alone there, and it looked like he was taken by surprise when he contacted the boards, just ran out of space. Yeah. That being said, that may have been a play where Rodriguez also had the option to throw that sort of bubble screen look. And if you're the receiver in the end zone expecting the bubble screen to be thrown, maybe you're not running that route with the intention of catching the ball. Yeah, that's true. And, the glass here goes all the way around the backstop, and I'll complete this thought after this play. Trips to the left here on 3rd and goal. Man in motion was Frazier. Keeping it is Rodriguez, and he's got nowhere to go. Corbin all over him. Great disciplined play by Corbin to wrap up, make the tackle, and now it'll be 4th and goal, a big play. But getting back to what I was saying before, too, Joe, not only if you're a wide receiver, it's disorienting, to know that there's a board there, that there are pads there, but then you have the glass, too. And there's a lot of arenas where you don't see the glass in the end zone because receivers, it could be dangerous. They can go right through it, and we've seen wide receivers go up over top of the board sometime and get spilled out of bounds. And so that glass, sometimes it does make receivers a little bit, yippy when they get to that area. 4th and goal, they look to pass. Rodriguez throws end zone high and incomplete. It looked like the defensive back, Lamar Wilkes, may have gotten a hand up and broken that one up. That's a really nice job by the Stampede, Joe. You as a defense, there's a couple of guys who are playing both sides here in this game, but
for the defense to come back onto the field against a team that you've already given up 2 touchdowns against, you put them at the 9-yard line, it's very easy at that point to be like, man, this game is going to be over soon. But they held their ground. They didn't bite on the fakes, and they have really good coverage on that last 4th down play. And Rodriguez's pass wasn't really a bad one. It was put in a really tight window, but the coverage was there regardless.
And if you're the Stampede now, that stop gives you a chance to make this a brand new ball game right here. You score and take it into halftime, 14-6, 14-8. All of a sudden, it's a 1-score game and you're receiving the football. So a touchdown here completely changes the complexion of this game. And if you're Steel City, no better time than the present.
Yeah, 100%. As we had a little bit of a delay there, both coaches having a conversation with the officials, not quite sure what that was about, but the Stampede will get the ball right back where they gave it up 4 downs ago on offense. So they're right back at their own 9-yard line.
The officials standing over the ball right now, and the Bearcats' eyes are down at the other end of the field. So I'm not exactly sure what the delay is at this point.
Yeah, not sure either. Both coaches had a long conversation with the officials. The officials never came over to the scorer's table, so there wasn't a clock issue or anything like that.
They're talking about it.
Yeah, they're talking about something here.
Meanwhile, they're doing some ghost busting in the crowd.
Yeah, well, you get the, now we got some rock music in the arena, but DJ Sparks on the turntables there and always gives the opponents a little bit of a razzing with their pump-up music when they hit the field.
All right, it looks like we're about ready. The officials disperse, and it will be first down Stampede with 3:39 to go in the first half. Pre-snap motion once again. Bacon was the motion man as they hand off to Chilton, and Chilton is brought down after a gain of about 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, Joe. I'm a fan of ground and pound football, and I like that. I just like softening up the defense and just letting them know that you're still here, you're still committed to running the football, you get ahead for 3 yards, and, coming off of a couple of plays where your quarterback was just getting mauled in the backfield with no time to throw, this is something, again, you're giving the Bearcats something else to think about where you can't just pin your ears back and go after the quarterback on every play, and now it's a 2nd down and 7.
Clock inside of 3 minutes now. Gibson having a word with Bacon here. Bacon the motion man. Bit of a high snap. Corbin sidearm delivery complete. That one just short of the sticks along the far side as Bacon makes the catch. 3rd and 2.
See if they give him progress. He was right at the sticks.
I don't think you can give progress on that one.
It will be short. Yep.
Yeah, I think he dove back short of the sticks. So looks like a 3rd and 2. Big play here because at the very least, if you're Steel City, you'd like to keep this drive going. You can score an arena with anywhere above 10 seconds with relative ease on a deep ball, but if you're Steel City and you don't score here, you do not want to give Jersey another opportunity with the football.
Yeah, because Jersey will have the ability to close this half out, and we've seen them 2 and 3 times this season score on the final play of halves and games.
They'll look to throw again, and that is complete, short near side. First down, Boogie Weidman with the catch.
Yeah, with Devontae LeGrand ready to hit him right out of bounds as soon as he makes that catch. And Weidman sees that one in on the sideline as he's going out of bounds. It's a nice job to pick up the first down.
And I think the way that Stampede have gotten the ball out quickly, this cushion that the Bearcats corners have given near the line of scrimmage is being used against them right now. And I think if you're Jersey, you're okay with that because those completions are not going for big gains. You can't throw that down around the goal line, and thus far, Steel City has not shown the ability to punch it in.
This could probably be the final play before the 1-minute warning as well.
Bacon in motion once again. Gibson looking to throw, airs it out downfield, up the sideline, and it caught the netting.
It sure did. We remark about that all the time. This arena is very different from a lot of the others in the AAL2 and that the ceiling is very low. And if, again, there was a step that the receiver had on that play, Sel Johnson, with the safety coming in up over top to help. If that's dropped into the window, this is probably a touchdown.
Yep. It was a tight window.
Yep.
But
and Johnson's
if he
going to
gets
get
it over the top, he has a step.
Yeah, and Johnson's going to get smacked as soon as he makes that catch if it's in a line. But that's the price you pay for a perfect pass, and it wasn't. So we do have the 1 minute warning here, Joe. It came with about 45 seconds remaining in this first half. So we'll keep our eye on that. We'll keep the folks at home abreast of how much time is left here in this first half. But it is a 2nd and 10 coming up.
If you're Steel City on this drive, you want one more first down minimum.
Yeah.
And then from there, as they put 6 seconds back on the clock, but from there and throughout this entire drive, it goes without saying, your sights are set on the end zone. But if you don't score, you cannot afford to let Jersey score again. And something that often comes into play in this situation, we saw it in the 2023 AAL2 championship. You get a bit too aggressive, you force it, and then 6 back the other way. And now they put a minute on the clock.
Yeah, full minute. It was an incomplete pass, and the play was started with about 1 minute and 5 left, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. 2nd and 10, Steel City. Ball at their own 23. 2 receivers in motion. Corbin looking. Look to take off. Ducks away from 1 tackle. Could not escape 2 more.
And it will be credited as a sack as he was taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Joey Ramirez, coming off of a Defensive Player of the Week honor, as the Bearcats have called for timeout as well after that play.
And it looked like Corbin might get away, and the ability there on the defensive line of Jaleel Tyler just to get contact, to get his arms on him, it made all the difference, Dave, because if he doesn't touch him, he's off to the races.
Right. No, I agree, because the seas had parted a little bit in the secondary, and there was a lot of green in front of Corbin, but that's what the Bearcats do best. Their offensive line, their defensive line, very sound, among the best in the AAL, and they expect to get sacks every game. They had 8 last week against the Outlaws. They can pick up another one here. It'll be 3rd down and more like an 11 here.
Yeah. 52.9 on the clock here at Waranenko. And as we said, very important here for the Steel City Stampede to get at least a first down out of this and keep the ball away from Jersey. Pre-snap motion once again was Mojica. The throw through his hands and picked off. Up the sideline races Naeem Archer, and he is tackled inside the 10. Dave, that's a drop, but there's the costly turnover I mentioned.
Absolutely. There was a flag down. Right now it looks as if the Bearcats are going to decline it, obviously, if it's against the Stampede, but they still have to get the word on what that was. But Naeem Archer was hanging out in the back of the secondary as a safety to provide the help. And after a long conference here, Joe, I think this might be against the Bearcats. They've sent their defense back onto the field. Alex, can we get one more look at that replay, please?
I don't know if we captured it, Dave.
Let's see here. Not quite sure what the penalty was, but yeah, it's like a little bit of a tip there. The pass was high. It was kind of tipped up in the air. Yeah, I agree, Joe. I agree.
Be caught.
It's in your orbit. You have to come down with it. But
and given the pressure as well, you'll take that kind of throw.
Now it's going to be 3rd down.
Well, it looks like they're first on the sticks, but
well,
they're going to change
but I think they're going to change it. It's going to be 3rd down and about.
So what did they call? Defensive offsides?
It had to be a 5-yard penalty against the Bearcats. 44.2 seconds left, and man, what a gift that was. Now, it didn't come after the play, so the Bearcats were guilty of that penalty from the jump.
Right back to action. Corbin airs it out. End zone caught. Touchdown Stampede. No flags.
What a stick by Weidman to come down with it right in front of the glass. Put those hands up and grab that out of the sky. Darnell Weidman, nice job. And boy, does that penalty hurt now more than ever.
Boogie comes up with the big touchdown grab. And once again, Dave, a tremendous throw from Corbin. Just like that, it is an 8-point game. The Stampede will go for 2.
What a difference, too, Joe. Now, there is still a lot of time left, 36.2 to go.
The Stampede knows something about that from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and you can see the Bearcats, they do have the one timeout remaining. So there's a lot to be said for the rest of this half. But, man, if that holds and if this halftime score holds the way it is, either 14-6 or 14-8 with the Stampede getting the ball first in the third, huge play for the Stampede just now.
Trips to the right. More of a stacked bunch for Steel City. Mojica in motion. And Corbin will keep. He's got nowhere to go.
Yeah. I think that was a design run from the outset. But the running back, Duke Chilton, on the play, didn't get to make his first block until he was about 4 yards into his own backfield. So that play was doomed from the start. So the score remained 14-6. As we get another look at it, you can see Chilton's looking to throw somebody a block, but by the time he doesn't get up the field, Joe. He's just working the
Did they get
periphery.
to spot that on what hash they wanted or went to the middle?
You know what? I don't know.
Run it back one more time, Alex.
Alex, one more time. Can we see that?
Yeah, middle of the field. That is just so tough if you're not on one of the hashes to get that running room. And the reason I bring up the speed option in a situation like that on the opposite hash is you have the option to then pitch it back to the back. If you're the quarterback, you want to try and set up the block for him inside right tackle or at least right on that edge. Once you have to bounce it to the outside near the goal line, it is so tough to run it in.
I agree, Joe.
So tough.
You know, in a team that's been starved for points against the Bearcats, the touchdown feels great, but it could conceivably still be a two-score game unless the Stampede, of course, they need the full breadth of a touchdown to tie 6 and the 2-point conversion. Looks like the kicking game is off the table for them. Otherwise, they probably would have went for one there. But 36.2 seconds to go. You can see it on your screen up at top there. The Bearcats with one timeout remaining. And look, they've had good field position off of the game's first kickoff. So they might be able to cut the field in half right now on this one. They need a good kickoff through the Stampede.
I think the mood in that locker room at halftime heavily contingent on the outcome of this offensive drive. Ward plays the kickoff on a bounce, and it looks like they'll have good field position again. Perhaps more than that, as Ward is finally touched and brought down just across midfield at the Stampede 22. It looked like he may break that one for 6.
It did, and it looked like it was going to be Sel Johnson with a chance to light him up. Joe, I don't know if you saw, but Sel Johnson kind of just olayed Kyle Ward here. Look, it's like you're coming in untouched, and they're like, olay. It's like you have a chance there. You got to get down and make that tackle.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but the Bearcats once again start a drive in plus territory. 29.3 on the clock. By our count, one timeout remaining. I'm fairly certain that's accurate. And if you're Jersey, this is an eternity. You could run at a minimum 4 plays here, maybe more.
22 yards in 29 seconds. That sounds almost easy for a lot of arena teams. But the Bearcats especially, that downfield throwing game.
I almost think the field position hurts them. I think they're too close.
We have a pre-snap penalty. And
did the Stampede think so as well? Because they're going to discuss it. I almost thought perhaps that was intentional.
You think so?
It wasn't, but initially, before the defensive back, Bacon protested, I thought maybe that was intentional.
But is it to make it a shorter field and to take away
It's to make it harder to hit that deep ball in the end zone over the top.
Yeah.
I think that the shortened field matters that much.
Meanwhile,
I really think it makes that much of a difference. But
and we've seen it with the Bearcats. I don't want to say it's been their Achilles heel.
I'm not doing that on the first play of the drive.
Sure.
Rodriguez will look to throw here.
Ward is wide open.
Ward open in the end zone, grabs it with one hand. Touchdown.
Wow. What a highlight reel play. We'll send that one to Sports Center later, see what they think about it for a top 10 highlight. But Ward was wide open, Joe. He just did a simple post route here. Nobody plays him. It's hard to pick up here because we're looking in the backfield, but there's nobody on him.
I don't know what the coverage was. It looked like a prevent defense where they just didn't cover the end zone.
Yeah.
Because you had 3 defensive backs lined up inside the 10, each holding a third of the field, and nobody took the end zone.
Joe, we said 29 seconds was enough. They scored in 5.3 seconds.
Incredible. And if you're the Stampede, that has to be a demoralizing touchdown. I'm not sure what happened there in coverage as that kick was blocked and covered up in the end zone by the Bearcats. Now, can you recover off a block for 2?
Well,
Coach Roque thinks so. Coach K thinks so. And the officials will discuss. Now, if it's blocked into the glass, you would think dead ball.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't, though.
It was blocked, and I think it hit the end boards. Oh, yeah, it bounced right up off the pads.
Yeah.
I would think if it's blocked and then hits the pads or the glass, it's dead.
Yeah.
It would be like a pass.
It's one of those gray areas that I'm not sure. I mean, they did protest, but it's going to remain
giving them
26.
the points.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah. I think if it landed in the end zone and just sat there, then ball's live. Because you have to give the defense a chance to pick it up and run it back. And if it's live, they can do that. But 6 on the drive for Jersey. They now lead by 14 again. And Alex, let's run back the replay of that touchdown once more.
The touchdown.
And I need to see what happened in the secondary for Steel City there. And we'll wait a moment as this kickoff skips off the hands of the return man. Bacon has to circle back and get it. And he is brought down and stood up at the 5. So we're going to go back and get another look at that touchdown in just a few moments. We're looking for it. .7 on the clock as this drive begins. And it's going to be a lengthy look as we go back to the pre-snap occurrences here, but we'll get a look at it in a moment. And I don't know how good of a look we're going to get at the secondary, but if you look downfield for Steel City, it looked like they had 3 defensive backs lined up, 1, 2, 3, each accounting for a third of the field. You see one near the top of the screen, far side, and nobody backs to the end zone. I see what happened. In the middle, Corbin came up on Manny Stewart.
Yeah.
And I would presume his responsibility is deep third middle, but if he takes that deep third middle, who's covering Stewart?
Exactly.
He walks in.
Exactly.
So
he had his hands full on the right side of the field.
There's nothing he can do there.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. We don't have like a full-length field here to look at that breakdown, but I saw it. I was looking at Ward the entire way on that route, and he was wide open. Nobody even marked him.
Steel City was running out of time there. Just got the snap off. Mojica has the catch over the middle. Might be wise just to go down.
Right.
He does.
7 seconds and counting. Let's see if they call a timeout here.
They have them.
They do
and they
now.
call it. They call it.
5.9, so this could be the final play of the game. And, that play does do well to put them in a better shot to take the shot. Now they reset the ball, and they did not get a playoff. So, Joe, they stopped it to set the ball down, but the Stampede did not call a timeout.
They must not have had any. There's no way you don't call a timeout.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we were right with our calls.
Apparently not. There is no way they did not call a timeout. But
all right, we're going to go down in the field.
Let's throw it to Cameron Williams with Coach Roque.
Here, Coach AJ. Coach AJ, you guys are up 20-6 at half. You guys have had a couple penalties that have lost you guys some possible points here. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you look to overcome that?
Again, penalties hurt us again, right? We get an interception off a penalty, next play, touchdown, right? You got to limit these penalties, and they're simple mistakes. We got to make sure we're 5 yards, back for linebackers, so we're not, so it's not legal defense.
100%. Kyle Ward, huge touchdown, one-handed grab at the end of the play. What are your thoughts on that, Coach?
Wow, that catch was phenomenal. Like, that was wow. That's wow.
He's a multi-versatile man. I know we're going to see him at running back the rest of this game, possibly. For that play, I mean, you guys look to continue to hit that with Mateo throwing the deep ball?
Yeah, we missed it earlier in the game, and we came back to it.
100%. Mateo's been very good. Coach, you guys are up 20-6. Defense has been awesome. What do you look for with the defense for the rest of the game?
Just continue getting after it. You know, it's arena football. You're going to give up points, right? But let's limit them like you've been doing.
100%. Thank you, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way. Back to you guys.
All right, great job, Cam, and thank you to Coach Roquet for taking the time to join us ahead of our halftime break. About 14:20 to go until the start of the third quarter, so with that, we will step aside and take a break. Our score at the half, the Jersey Bearcats 20 and the Steel City Stampede 6.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Jersey.
Our halftime event is Karma Carms. She'll take over the microphone here in the arena. A special halftime presentation. Recording artist Karma Carms. That was today's halftime presentation and recording artist Karma Carms. We are going to throw it to break once again. When we come back, we'll have second half action right here live from Warananko.
You plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089-232-694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL2.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
KKT, InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star, just like the Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day and ticket information, please contact us at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com.
Jersey Bearcats football is brought to you by Pino's Bakery. Located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, Pino's is your prime stop for specialty cakes, pastries, and deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pino's is where family, tradition, and goodness are a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at pinosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pino's Bakery.
While we have a break in the action, the Jersey Bearcats would like to thank the Union Junior ROTC and the U.S. Army ROTC for their support of the Bearcats and AOL2 football.
And we are back from the Warananko Sports Arena with about 4 minutes to go before the start of the second half in this AAL2 matchup between the Jersey Bearcats and the Steel City Stampede. But Dave, while we have some time, let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow for the first time ever on the PDF Sports Network.
Yeah, it's a groundbreaking afternoon for us tomorrow at 1:30 as we present the Vetera Liga, the Maple League, the top American football league in the country of Finland. You see their flag on the lower left, and it's a rematch of last year's Vetera Liga Maple Bowl 45 between the Helsinki Roosters and the Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Joe, the games in the Vetera Liga get played on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. So many of the games have been played. We'll get this marquee matchup tomorrow between two perennial favorites. The preseason coaches poll has come out. These two teams are in the top four, expected to go on and play in the playoffs. And there's just a lot of excitement heading into, this rendition of European football on PDF.
And with that, Dave, I think Cameron's waiting for us down on field level. We have our Lady Bearcat Spotlight coming up with about 3 minutes to go before the second half. So with that, we'll throw it down to Cam Williams.
Hey, guys, what's up? I'm here with Monica and Mandy. Guys, you guys just did an absolute amazing performance at halftime. What goes into the preparation each week?
So much work. We practice about 2 times a week. Then we rehearse early on Saturdays for game day. And then your individual prep, mindset's everything, physical endurance, stamina. We do workouts every day. And all of it goes into preparation.
Yeah, I love it. And you guys say preparation. What's your favorite thing to do at practice? What goes into building your own dances each week?
Oh gosh, it's a lot in practice. We just have a blast during practice. We're just feeding off of each other's energy, and we just bring amazing routines. We have amazing captains and directors that are behind the scenes with everything, so they create absolutely amazing routines for us to perform.
100%. And what's your favorite part about being a Lady Bearcat?
Okay, this is cheesy, but we end every practice with our cheer, and we can do it with you. We say, put your paws in, and then we say LBC on 3. 1, 2, 3, LBC! That's my favorite.
I love it. And how do you go about being a part of the Lady Bearcats?
So we go through an audition process. Back in November, we all auditioned, and then we had our preseason. Our actual season started in the beginning of the year, and then we have our practices and then our own prep on the days that we're not doing practice. So.
Love it. Thank you guys. Do you want to end with the LBC real quick? Let's do it, Dave and Joe. Here we go.
Okay,
let's go.
Put your paws in. LBC on 3.
1, 2, 3. LBC. Back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thank you to Cam and the Lady Bearcats. Dave, huge missed opportunity not to have a second microphone down there for Cam to join in on the cheer with the Lady Bearcats, but it looked like he was pushing for a tryout. I don't know if that's going to work, but either way, a great Lady Bearcat spotlight as always, once again, with about a minute to go before the start of the third quarter. So Dave, taking it back to the end of the first half, Stampede got on the board, left the Bearcats with just over 25 seconds. It only took the Bearcats about 5.3 to score. They make it a 14-point game again. It felt like a backbreaker for the Stampede at the time, but in the grand scheme of things, they scored to open the third. They're right back in this. How close are the Stampede right now? What needs to happen to keep this game close the rest of the way? Maybe steal a win. Yeah, you know what? I've been pretty impressed with them offensively. They've only had, I think it was only three drives, right, Joe? 3 or 4 tops. And, they finally got that deep ball that they were looking to hit on and did a nice job with it to get their one score. But their first drive of the game was really, really good. They just didn't finish. Their second drive, they had a penalty, a pre-snap penalty that backed them up. They had to go to the pass. They became one-dimensional, and the Bearcats feasted from there. But I'll tell you what, if they can eliminate the penalties, and, they had a couple of drops in that half as well, they could get themselves right back in this game. Now, at some point, they have to slow down the Bearcats' offense. Now, they were able to hold them to a 4-and-out in a goal-to-go situation, which was the highlight of what they did defensively. But other than that, the Bearcats were able to do pretty much what they wanted to do. And if not for penalties on the Bearcats side, they probably would have been able to do more. But listen, the Stampede are one big play away from being right back in this game. And we'll have to see. They don't have any excuse because they get the ball first. And I think when you're looking back at that first half, the two big areas that I'm looking at for Steel City, you had the drops and you had the coverage breakdowns. You cannot have those big coverage breakdowns like what we saw from Steel City in that first half. And you cannot afford drops. One of their drops was a touchdown.
Right.
Another nearly turned into an interception that put the Bearcats on the doorstep. Jersey went on to score either way, but despite that, it could have been much more quickly that they scored had that interception stood, and you never know. They might get an extra possession on top of that as well if that interception call stood on the field. So they have to fix some things.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that the interception was called back due to a penalty, and that's the drive the Stampede actually ended up scoring on. So it helped them on that drive that they ended up turning into 6 points. So, you know, it's a little bit of a demerit against the Bearcats, but at the same time, the Stampede have, and, you know, we said it in the pregame, Joe, you got to keep your opponent to the opponent in front of you. If you start beating yourself, the Bearcats have a lot of talent. They can rise above some of those mistakes. Can the Stampede rise above those mistakes? I'm not so sure. So they got to play as mistake-free as they can in this second half.
And I think when you look at that first half, a standout for sure. Gordy Corbin at quarterback played really well, put the ball on target, got the ball out quickly, and avoided what we've seen so often, those big losses on passing plays. He was able to turn some of those into positive plays, was able to turn what could have been some 5- and 6-yard losses into nets of no gain. And I really also like the way they ran the ball with Duke Chilton as well. I think late in the half they had to get away from that a bit with the time constraints, but you can afford to get back to that on this drive, trailing by just 2 scores. However, if you do, you have to make this drive count and get back to within 1 possession. We'll see if they can do that as they're about to receive the second half kickoff.
Yeah, I haven't been really thrilled with their option game, Joe, but I think when they've just...
I think it's the timing of the calls.
And I think when you're just playing power football, just play power. Just strength versus strength.
That's a good bounce on that kickoff into the arms of Bacon. He broke 1 tackle, looks to reverse field, breaks another, and can he get away again? He cannot.
It's
the Bearcats relentless.
Relentless indeed. And by the end of that play, you had all 8 Bearcats against 1 ball carrier because everybody else with a white jersey was ahead of the play. So it turns out to be a significant loss on the return, but for a second there, it looked promising.
Well, you can't do that either, Dave. Yeah. You got a great bounce straight to the arms of your return man. At worst, they should be at the 20. They probably get to midfield if he just powers forward, but I get trying to make the big play happen there. You need to make something happen. I'm not sure if this is the time. The offense on their last drive, the last scoring drive, looked pretty good. They got some help, but they made the most of it. And I think the way this offense is played in this game, you didn't have to try and do that in that spot.
Yeah, and the ball spotted at the 3, Joe. So
that is killer.
Wow, that's about a 17-yard
They did not give him an
loss.
inch.
No benefit of the doubt with forward progress there. But, you know, it was his decision to keep running out of some of these tackles. But the Stampede will have to go a long way, and they do have a new quarterback in the game, Joe. It's the second quarterback listed on the roster, Kareem Harris.
All right. First play under center for Harris is a handoff, and that goes nowhere. Chilton, the ball carrier, no gain.
And, Joe, remember that, you know, every team in the East makes the playoffs. So it's not like the Stampede are playing for their playoff lives. Now, obviously, if they win, they have a chance to be the 3 seed instead of the 4 seed. They still might finish as the 3 seed if the Roughnecks are able to beat the Maryland War Eagles. But, you know, you say to yourself, you use this half as, you know, a precursor to what's going to come in 2 weeks. Who's going to be your quarterback? Is Corbin somebody who's better served coming out and playing wide receiver on offense? We know he plays good defense, so now you give the ball to Harris and see what he can do.
I think they're trying to figure out here how they proceed next time should they face the Bearcats again.
Yeah, and Chilton is no longer playing running back either. As a new running back in the game, Taz Ransom.
He got that first carry. Not there this time as Harris looking downfield, airs it out. It's wobbling and intercepted by Pusey. Pusey works toward the near side and is pushed into the Steel City bench. Very quickly, the Stampede turn it over, and the Bearcats get to work on offense, leading by 14.
Yeah, I don't know if that came out of Harrison's hands funny, but it just never looked like a good crisp pass. It kind of looked like a little wounded as it went up there, and all Pusey had to do was step under it and make the easy play. So that was an easy one for the Bearcats, and I don't think Harris got rid of that the way he wanted to.
Best case, that lands in a double team.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the intended target, blanketed by 2 defenders, or if he overshot the receiver who was underneath. That is possible. There was a man underneath as well, but either way, not the start to the third quarter that the Stampede were looking for. And now the Bearcats are going to take over with 12:24 on the clock.
Yep, and the 3 drives that they've had success with, Joe, they've all been on short fields inside of Stampede territory. They really haven't had to go a long distance.
3 receivers to the right of Mateo Rodriguez. He's flanked by Ward in the backfield. And it's a toss to Ward. Ward has running room. Nice block on the edge there as well to help spring him upfield. No 73 on the roster either, Dave. Those offensive linemen sharing jerseys.
Yeah, I guess they are. Although Larkin has worn 73 sometimes. So I think that's Larkin, Joe.
Well, he had a nice block.
Yeah. And they did get a good sizable play on that. A 2nd down and 4 coming up.
Bearcats right back to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers to the left. Stewart and Frazier were in motion. Rodriguez throws the screen low.
Yeah, the last time they ran the pitch play, Joe, that we saw on 1st down, they scored a touchdown on it. It was called back because of a hold. Or if they ran it to the 1, I don't know, the goal line, it looked like a touchdown to me, but it got called back. So that was the first time they've run that low screen that they like to run as well in this area of the field inside the 10-yard line. That time Rodriguez just wasn't synced up well and threw a bad pass. But this is another big 3rd down here coming in an area of the field where the Bearcats have struggled just a little bit this season. Just not a lot of real estate in this final quarter of the field.
Oh, and Steel City's gotten a stop. This has been where they picked it up. Rodriguez looking to his left, has time. Now running out of it, rolls out and throws over the head of Frazier, who looked like had a chance.
Yeah, and a very late flag. And again, Joe, I think it's the glass. I think when you're running as a wide receiver at full speed and you see a pane of glass in front of you, it's just your instinct. It's just human nature to kind of flinch a little bit. Whereas if it's not there and that ball just sails directly out, you have a better chance. We'll see what happens at the end of this play here as well in the backfield as they'll back things up. And, Joe, like you said earlier in the game, this might actually be a benefit for the Bearcats here. It's 3rd down and 14.
I might have declined.
3rd and 14.
Interesting decision in that spot. But would you have declined it, Dave? I might have.
Third down.
3rd and 14.
Got a balloon on the field, Joe. Helium balloon hanging out.
Rodriguez, another nice pocket, throws downfield. He's intercepted. Bacon has it with blockers ahead. And Rodriguez makes the tackle. Nicely done by the Bearcats quarterback, who then is on the receiving end of a personal foul. And I don't know what you're doing there. If you're Bacon, I don't know what was said. You never know what was said. But this is going to back this one all the way up and probably put Steel City inside their own 5.
Yeah, it does. Now, Rodriguez is flexing after this play. I don't know why. He threw the ball right to Bacon. Now, he didn't see him. It's that clear. He didn't see him. And you can see Rodriguez fronting on Bacon, forcing him to take a penalty that'll back this thing up. But, Rodriguez could also get called for a taunting penalty here, Joe, as well. He's not going to. But let's go back and watch that one more time, Alex, if you don't mind. And we'll just see if we could see what Rodriguez saw here. He never sees Bacon. He throws it right into him. It just looks like he didn't see him.
And Bacon checked over his shoulder. Even that slight hesitation can cost you.
Right.
Now, let's see here.
I think because he was so surprised. Look at Rodriguez standing over him.
Yeah. Okay.
So he could have got called for a taunt there. The play was well over.
So they are going to back Steel City up to about their own 11. .9:19 to go, third quarter. And a big stop from the Steel City defense gets them the ball back, trailing by 14. Harris looks left, throws complete, and immediately cut down on the play was Weidman. Give him about 5. Pre-snap motion. Harris looks right, gets it out quickly, complete. Sel Johnson, no gain.
Yeah, no gain. It's a good hot read, though, to Johnson. Last time they hit that in stride, he was able to cut it up into the center of the field and was able to cut it up for some yards. But that time, the Bearcats were camped out and ready for him. So it'll be 3rd down and the same distance, 3rd and 5.
Harris doing a good job getting the ball out quickly there, but you see there on that short pass, the Bearcats defensive backs a bit tighter to the line of scrimmage now. They are not going to concede that. I think if there's ever a time to try and go over the top, look at the Bearcats defense. It's probably now.
See if they bring in that 4th rusher, do the Bearcats as well.
It is crowded around the line of scrimmage right now. Pass complete, and Weidman stays on his feet. He's racing upfield. And hanging on for dear life was Barry Turner, and he gets some help to bring down Weidman after a big gain on 3rd.
Well, remember, Joe, earlier in the game where Weidman had that route, he was just sitting at the 1st down marker waiting for his quarterback to see him. That time, that was the good read. Right there, you look off your receiver in the middle of the field, turn right to Weidman, you know you're going to him the whole way, and then Weidman makes the play by breaking that tackle and cutting it up inside.
1st down, Steel City. The sticks look to be right at the 10. I think they can get a 1st down inside the 1, Dave. That stick is rested down around the goal line, the 1st down marker. So I think it is 1st and 10.
Yeah, I think so too, because that ball is outside the 10.
Harris throwing, end zone. A lot of contact and no flag.
Yeah, looking for the back shoulder there. Not quite a fade, but looking to, use the defender as leverage there, Rojas on the coverage. Only his 2nd game with the Bearcats. It's not a bad idea there, but the pass has to be perfect.
Let's get one more look at it here. Weidman did have a height advantage as well. If this ball's higher, I think they have the touchdown. He's got a distinct size advantage. That ball's got to be higher, but it was too far to the outside as well, so maybe that's why it appeared to be a bit short on the throw. Either way, it is 2nd and 10. From about the 10.25-yard line. Mojica lined up deep in the offensive backfield in the slot on the left, and he is going to be the motion man. Harris steps up, takes off, running for the goal line, cuts upfield, and he is short. And I think that's 3rd down as well, Dave. He did not get the line to gain.
Yes, he absolutely did not. He's at just outside the 1.
That stick has now been moved, Dave. I don't know if they do have a 1st down to pick up. The 1st down marker was inside the 1. It's now moved.
Oh, so now it's 3rd and goal?
So it might be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. That's a nice open field tackle by Tariq Pusey, though. Look at Harris do a nice job of cutting it back to the inside, and Pusey, who's kind of at a bad angle,
I thought he had
back.
it, Dave. Yeah. He should have continued to the sideline.
Yeah, quite possibly. But that ball is spotted right at the 1, and we have a timeout that's going to be called here. It's going to be called by Steel City. So we'll have to reset the timeouts to 3 each. And it'll be the first one that the Stampede take. But it's a big play. They got 2 plays to get 1 yard here. So there's a lot in the arsenal. But it's a monster play.
What is the Stampede bench doing? That's 2 water bottles that have exploded on the field.
I noticed that, Joe.
2 of them, back to back. But all kidding aside, I think the outcome of this drive determines whether or not the Stampede have a shot in this game. If they don't get points here, it is going to be tough. That being said, if you don't score and the Bearcats take over on their own goal line, anything can happen. Regardless of that potential, if you're Steel City, you need to cash in here. It's 3rd and goal. The ball is at the 1. You can look to power it up the middle here twice, I think. The way Chilton has run it, that's the direction I'd go. Power football up the middle. Try and make it happen that way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. To me, not getting it is not in the vocabulary. You have to score here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I think the first priority is do not take a penalty. Do not go off sides. Don't put yourself in a bad spot. You got to go straight ahead here twice. You got to score the touchdown here. And that sends a message to the Bearcats, who are coming off their first turnover of the game.
5:13 to go, and they were going to do it, Dave.
They were, and
they were in position for a potential quarterback keeper.
Maybe, and they were lined up in the I formation for the first time in the game, where they had a fullback.
I like it.
Yeah, they had a fullback Gibson, and I like that because what you're daring them to do is go strength versus strength. You're not looking for, the run-pass option. You're not looking for the delay. Just pound it up the middle. Dare their guys to be stronger than yours. And listen, when the Stampede have played that ground and pound ball, they haven't been excellent, but they've gotten their 2 and 3 yards on their carries. Go back to that, score this touchdown, and send the message to the Bearcats if you can.
The creative in me comes out strong eye with the fullback to the left. You fake the handoff to the fullback and toss it. I think you catch him off guard if you did that. You come out, line up in the eye, motion your fullback to the left, fake the handoff there and toss it. Maybe you save that for 4th down. I'd go up the middle on 3rd. I would save the toss for 4th down.
Yeah, I was going to say you do have
Call
2 downs.
2 plays here.
Yeah, you do have 2 downs, right. And I was going to say
Call
that
2
as well.
plays here. You have the timeout. I'm going power football, running it. I like that I form call. Maybe you quarterback sneak it. Maybe you hand it off to the fullback. If I don't get it, I line up in the eye. I motion the fullback out to the left if you're on the left hash, and then I toss it to the running back.
All right, let's see if
in the other direction, not in the direction of the fullback, the other way.
Well, let's see if they're thinking on the same speed. Now, the Bearcats looked at the I formation and said to themselves they want a timeout. They want to discuss this formation. They haven't seen it before. And, why not? You're up by 14. You know they have 2 plays to score. Make sure you got the right defense called here.
A pivotal series of 2 plays coming up here, maybe 1 if the Stampede can punch it in.
Looks like they go out of the ace or the pro set here, Joe.
This is a split back, single back formation. This is the kind of look you give when you're looking to push the quarterback into the end zone. Let's see what they do. It's a handoff, Chilton, and he didn't get it.
No, he did not.
Oh, Dave. That is so tough. You have to take that handoff and then get moving laterally.
Yeah, and again, I was going to say that's an off-tackle run, off-tackle left to the short side of the defense as well. So there's less real estate there to begin with, Joe. So
they ran it to the short side.
Yeah, if you're going to go wide, if you're going to go off-tackle, now I realize that Ramirez is on the other side, and he's been just blowing things up tonight, but I don't know if that's the right call.
They didn't hold the block. They had it if it was blocked well. They had it.
Well, here it is, 4th and goal now. Now you're down to that 1 play. They come back out, and
they are about to tush push
it's
it, Dave.
Tush push, it looks like.
Yeah. That's really tough against this Bearcats defense. Do they have enough? Touchdown! They got it. Woo. A gutsy call there by Steel City. They showed their hand pre-snap, made no mystery about what they were about to do, and we have an injured Bearcat at the bottom of the pile.
Well, you know what? I say it in the NFL all the time. Joe, people hate that call or whatever, but look, they're telling you what they're going to do. They're telegraphing it, they're letting you know, and they're saying, I dare you to beat me. I'm talking about the Eagles. And you know what? Nobody beats them. So, I don't agree with, banning that call or whatever. And the Stampede have shown that it holds up in the arena game as well. We knew what was coming.
I do not agree with the ban either, for what it's worth.
No, I don't agree with it. Joe, what I've always said to people with the banning is that they will ban it at some point when we get an injury.
Well, that's
when we get a quarterback
Why
injury.
are you banning it? Are you banning it due to injury concerns or integrity of the game?
Well, I think it's because it's kind of an unstoppable play and maybe the integrity of the game.
Really? Because I only see one team executing it.
Well, yeah, and also because it's it's just an ugly play, and it's not the kind of play that the NFL wants to hang their hat on.
Risk. I think that's why. I think the injury risk is the reason.
Well, It's not banned, so until a quarterback gets hurt, and that's what I always say, until a quarterback snaps their leg or breaks their tibia in half, that play is gonna stand the test of time in the NFL, and we'll see what happens. Now, do we have the timeout here, Joe? I'm not quite sure.
Well, following Dave's anatomy lesson talking about broken bones, we have our break in the action here in the third quarter. And we have champions running onto the field participating in our timeout contest coming up shortly. But champions deserve championship rings. And Zolnir championship rings are the official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats in the AAL2. See the incredible selection and touch of class at Zolnir. Visit them at ZC Championship Rings. Make that zchampionshiprings.com to see their competitive pricing, exceptional customer service, and free quotes as always. Zolnir Championship Rings, the official championship ring provider of the AAL2 and the Jersey Bearcats. As the Stampede go for two, they throw, and it was dropped by Johnson. Nicely done there by Pusey to get his hand in and break it up. And at that, we'll throw it to Cam Williams down on the field. Cameron, take it away.
Yeah, guys, at the end of that play before this 2-point conversion, the Stampede did a little bit of a tush push there, and defensive lineman number 99, Chris Roan, got a little banged up. He's got a hand issue, and that's banging him up. He might be out the rest of the game. They're saying we'll wait to hear more, but he was out on the last play. Chris Roan, back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Cam, and we'll see if we get our break in the quarter. We will here, so I'll tell you more about Zolnir Championship Rings. You can give Director of Sales Joseph Khalil a call directly at 1-800-303-8548. Zolnir is the official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and AAL2. Once again, you can visit them online as well at zchampionshiprings.com.
And Joe, another announcement to make. At some point, you'll see in the background of our picture some balloons that are set up by the Waranenko Sports Center. And that's because they're raising money for a wonderful little girl named Amelie. She's here. You know, Amelie is battling cancer, and they're raising money for her. You can donate yourself by donating to csn.org/Amelie. Her name is spelled Amelie. Once again, it's part of the Cures Starts Now. They're giving away cupcakes on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the arena, and they're raising money to support Amelie, and we hope that you guys will at home too. The entity that is supplying the cupcakes is Pino's Bakery, so we know Pino's very well. They sponsor our first quarter. They have a commercial on PDF, and one of the things that we like to say about the Jersey Bearcats and the games here is that it's a family atmosphere, and they're always trying to do the right thing by the community. So we hope that you guys at home will support the Bearcats, will support Pino's Bakery, which is putting up some free cupcakes and cakes on the opposite side, and we hope that you'll support the Cure Starts Now program, which is raising money for sweet Amelie. Once again, it's donate to csn.org/Amelie, Amelie. So we hope that you'll support them as well tonight.
A great cause and a great job by the Bearcats bringing that into the fold for tonight's game. As you said, Dave, the Bearcats always heavily engaged with the local community here in Roselle and throughout this part of New Jersey. A great turnout, as always, here at the Waranenko Sports Arena as well. Every Bearcats home game is an event, and this is one that you don't want to miss. It's a one-score game, 4:05 to go here in the third quarter, and that failed conversion is big, Dave. It keeps it an 8-point game, so the Stampede can't beat you if you're Jersey with another score, and I think that gives you a bit of extra breathing room and margin for error. That being said, you know coming into this game, this is not a position the Bearcats expected to be in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you know what? What it comes down to, Joe, is that the Bearcats made a big mistake. They threw the interception. They got the ball back after an interception, threw an interception. The Stampede took a dumb penalty at the end. They had to go 47 yards, and they did. So they've sent a little bit of a message here to the Bearcats saying, look, if you're going to make mistakes, you're going to pay for them. And that's what teams have to do. And we said it during pregame, Joe. It's like as the games get bigger and bigger, your window to make mistakes gets smaller and smaller because after a while, teams are going to make you pay for those mistakes. And the Stampede did. Now the Bearcats have to come out. This is their second drive of the half, and they're coming off of a turnover on their last drive. Now they need to put up a response regardless of the score.
1st and 10 Bearcats. Ball at their own 22 receivers in motion. And the handoff goes to Ward. He finds a crease but was yanked down from behind.
Yeah, hanging on for dear life was Brian Gibson. Made a nice job of getting to him. Actually, that was number 20, Feast Morel, who grabbed the hold of the jersey and never let go. And kept Ward from getting more than just a 4-yard gain that he got. So it'll be 2nd down and 6.
That's a big play to start the drive because when Ward found that hole, it looked like he might burst through and be off to the races. But a good job up front there by Steel City to slow him down on the play, and then ultimately by Morel to throw him down. 2nd down and about 6 to go for the Bearcats here. I'm looking for the 4th receiver. I feel like they're missing a player, Dave. Am I missing somebody? No. I see 3 receivers, 3 linemen, and no running back. As it looks like we may have a fumble on the play. The Stampede think they have it, and they do. Wow. Steel City recovers the fumble. Dave, I was trying to count the number of Bearcats. I thought they had 7 on the play.
There were 8. I counted them after you said it. I just couldn't. I didn't know where the 4th receiver was.
Where was he?
Oh, it was Ward, coming in, who actually got the handoff.
Where was the 4th receiver? Go back, Alex.
Yeah, we'll watch it one more time.
Give it a pause as well, Alex, after it starts. Pause that.
Can't hear you. 1, 2, 3. There were 2 here. There was 1 tucked in.
Okay, I missed them. I thought they had 7 for a moment. I was baffled, and somewhere in that pileup, Ward lost the football. And if he did, which apparently he did, as it is Stampede football, I think it was Brian Gibson who ripped it loose.
Yeah, he had a big play to stop Ward on the 1st down, too, grabbing onto that jersey and never letting go. So how do you like that? 2 drives for the Bearcats, 2 turnovers to start the 2nd half.
Things getting messy for Jersey here as Chilton takes the handoff from Harris, cuts back, and picks up a yard.
Yeah, that's about it. 1 yard on the play as Chisholm went down hard on that knee. But that's another play where Chisholm kind of was thinking about, do I go off tackle? Oh, Chilton. Do I go off tackle or do I cut it up? He couldn't make up his mind in time and only got the half a yard. So it'll be 2nd down and 9 coming up.
I think if you're the Bearcats now, things have moved into the area of deep concern. It's been a bit messy. Throughout the night, they had again the chance to deal the knockout blow. Couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, Steel City has the football in a 1-score game. We have just under 1:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, their first 2 drives of the game, they scored touchdowns. And then they scored one late in the half, which on 5 seconds, 1 play touchdown. And
Harris going end zone. And there's a flag. It was unnecessary, Dave. The throw was well short. And Archer grabbed Weidman and yanked him down to the turf.
Yeah, and I think Archer probably thought he had no choice because Weidman had cut off his route to try and meet that ball. And, you know, all you have to do if you're Archer here is just put your hands up in the air and just let him go through your body. But instead, he lets Weidman get away from him and it's forced. And there's 4 officials in the game, and all 4 of them threw their yellow flag. That was an easy one. And they're going to move the ball all the way down the field here, and this could be a 1st and goal coming up.
And you said it, Dave. You believed Archer thought that it was necessary. Obviously, looking at the replay, it was not. And it's really tough to make that distinction as a defensive back. That being said, in the end zone, even if you think it's necessary, do you really want to do that in that situation?
Right. Yeah, force him to make the catch.
There have been a lot of drops tonight.
Right. I agree with you. Yep.
You know,
there's no need to use your hands there. You could just use your body as a human shield, you know, box out like they do in basketball.
He grabbed the jersey. Yeah, I mean, that is conceding the penalty 100%. Now, you're never going to get away with that.
At first, they spotted the ball at the 5, but they are going to bring it back to the 16. So it's a 15-yard penalty, the pass interference.
Well, then I understand it. Then you take it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that, you know, when the penalties occur, beneath 15 yards, it's a spot of the foul. When it's over 15 yards, it's a max 15-yard penalty. So, but either way, now they're on the positive half of the 25-yard line, and another first down here for the Stampede.
Under a minute to go, third quarter. Mojica in motion. Harris hands off. And immediately, Ransom brought down. Maybe got a yard, perhaps, back to the line of scrimmage on the play. And we should have one more play here in the third quarter.
2nd down and 9 coming up.
Final play of the third here. And I think they have to snap it, Dave. The Stampede not showing any sense of urgency to run another play.
And I think they have to run a play.
They
like
do.
You said,
They wanted Corbin in the game.
Right.
They have about 14 seconds. They better hurry.
Well, they got to run up to the line here and snap, do something here.
They're going to have to call timeout, Dave. Or not.
Maybe they didn't need to run a play.
I'm telling you, they did.
That
was a gift.
We'll see if Cam is ready for a third quarter installment. Probably not, but we'll see.
That is indeed the end of the third quarter. And Cam Williams heads back out onto the field. We will throw it down his way as we send it to the fourth.
Yeah, thank you guys. 20-12 here. Bearcats are up. There's still been a lot of discrepancies in the play calling. The Bearcats are having trouble kind of stopping the play now from the Stampede and haven't been able to find consistent offensive scoring for them. They need to air the ball out more. They need to get the run game better with Kyle Ward up the middle. They're kind of missing out on Nas Adams right now, but more on Chris Roan here. He should be returning this quarter, he believes, by the second half of this quarter. Still dealing with that little arm issue and hand issue, but other than that, he is not ruled out of this game so far. 20-12, last quarter here. Bearcats look to hold on to the lead. Back to you guys.
All right, Cam, thank you. And Lady Bearcats will take to the field now. So, Dave, why don't we talk about what needs to happen for both of these teams in this game? The Stampede are exactly where they wanted to be. They didn't score to start the second half, but they scored first in the second half, and that was important. They forced 2 turnovers. They have to like that. The Bearcats need to get things figured out now on both sides of the ball. What needs to change for them?
Well, I think for the Bearcats, you just have to slow down a little bit and just work on, obviously, first things first, protect the ball. You know, obviously the interception was just a mistake by Rodriguez, fumbling the ball by Ward as you're bounding towards the out-of-bounds marker, another mistake. So these are just mental issues. Obviously, you can give credit to the Stampede for the forced turnovers, but still, the Bears just got to get back to within themselves. I think what Cameron just said is truth. You know, they are missing Nas Adams. Nas Adams is a great equalizer, Joe. Just give them the ball, let them punish them up the middle for a play or two. You don't have that here this time. So if the Stampede can put this ball in the end zone, the Bearcats are going to be up against it, and then it becomes a mental thing. Then it becomes like, okay, now the game is tied. Potentially we're only up by 2, and we've just turned the ball over twice. So, you know, one mistake compounds more mistakes. So if you're the Bearcats, you just got to slow down, one play at a time, get the 2 and 3 yard spurts. And listen, if you're the Stampede, you got to think to yourself, we're going to get the ball maybe one more time after this, maybe twice if we're lucky. They got to score on this drive. It's 2nd down and 10. They're at the 15-yard line. Got to come away with points here.
How much of this game hinges on the result of this drive? The Stampede don't score. Their road back becomes very difficult. Good news for them is they have the ball to begin the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I would guess they get it 2 more times after this. But that's not a sure thing, and the Bearcats can immediately make this a 2-score game when they get it back. So you have to keep that in mind as well.
Sure, I agree with that. And you know, I still think that if you're the Stampede, you got to think about scoring here. But you're trusting your defense now. You're getting a lot more trust that they can stop on the other side.
Wilkes was the motion man. Harris throws end zone. Brought in, touchdown. It's Weidman again in the front corner of the end zone. And the Stampede are a 2-point conversion away from tying the score.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. They've had their share of drops in this game, but they have had a couple of really good catches, and Weidman has been the recipient of both. He just plucks it out of the sky. That's the second time he's done that, and that is not easy to do. Your back is up against the glass. You got two black jerseys bearing down on you. You know you're going to get hit. You know there's going to be hands jockeying all over you to break that up. To go up and grab that ball and secure it, that's a great play by Weidman.
Big size advantage pays off there, Dave. You can see it. And on the bench for the Stampede, Shaheem Bacon knew it. He was tapping the top of his head. But Weidman has that size advantage, and he posted up against those corner boards. It gave him some support as he went up for that catch as well. It makes it a bit easier, I think. He didn't use it to trap the ball, but he used it to give himself some bracing.
Stabilize.
As the Stampede moved early here, and they'll back up 5. Does that help you?
Again,
I think it does. They have showed no ability to punch it in from that 2 to 5 yard range.
Yeah.
Back it up and give yourself a chance to pass. I don't hate the outcome of that penalty.
Yeah, if your plan was to run it for the touchdown, that's off the table, so this hurts you a little bit. But, yeah, I think in this case, and look, the Stampede, they're 0 for 2 on their 2-point conversion. So maybe switching it up here, forcing a pass. Again, Harris can run with it if he sees an opening, but just not a lot of real estate in this area of the field. But I think it's got to be something quick, Joe. I think it's got to be a quick slant.
You have to double Weidman here,
Yeah.
I think. Let's see if they do. They do not. They go that way, and he dropped it.
He dropped it, and there was a lot of hand maneuvering there, too, by Ramirez Rojas as well.
They had the look, Dave.
Might have gotten away with a pass interference there, Joe. We'll see, but we'll slow it down a little bit, too, Alex, if we can, or on the second time around. We'll see.
I love the play call, Dave. The motion forced the defense to leave Weidman one-on-one. I think it's a good no call.
Yeah, it's a good no call.
And they got the exact look they wanted. It actually surprised me that they threw Weidman a line drive there. Didn't give him a chance to go up and get it. I think that might have taken him by surprise because the ball hit him right on the inside of the biceps.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think that's one obviously you'd like to have. You'd like to be, falling down as you make that play, see it through to your chest. But it was coming in a little hot. It was a bit of a screamer and not to be. So indeed it still remains. That was a great touchdown, but it didn't mean much unless you were able to make the 2-point conversion. And, this is where we talk about it all the time, Joe. Special teams and the ability to have a kicker is a big difference. Right now, Anthony Starego on the 2 extra points is the difference right now in this game. Both teams have scored 3 touchdowns, and the Bearcats have the 2 extra points, and the Stampede are 0 for 3 in that category now.
That's a great point you make. We talk about the importance of special teams all the time. The sheer presence of a kicker changes a game.
Absolutely.
And as you said, right now it's the difference.
Yeah. And again,
the pressure's on here if you're the Bearcats.
And it's one thing if you miss them, but it's another thing if it's not even an option. And it's not even an option for the Stampede in this one.
And not a great kick there by Steel City, but perhaps given the plus territory that we've seen the Bearcats get multiple times, I think that was probably intentional.
Yeah, that's the second time they kicked one out of bounds, Joe. The first time was in the bench, the Jersey bench to start things off. And you know what? I think it's a sound decision because the Bearcats on their 3 scoring drives had the ball on the plus side of the 25 each time. So they haven't been able to drive the length of the field, believe it or not, have the Bearcats. And we're not used to saying that.
Well, they start here at the 20. They have enough room to throw downfield if they want. And we know the identity of this team. We've seen it time and time again. That's their bread and butter. You have to think they go to it on the first play of this drive. Try and seize control of this game back.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I still think that they need to just get a good 3 to 5 yard run here or a quick throw in the flat. The Stampede have been playing really off the ball here. See what they decide to do.
I think they're going downfield, but we'll see.
It wouldn't surprise me. Remember their identity.
And I like that play call, but a flag comes out.
Yeah.
Now, they feigned going downfield and then sat the receiver down. I really like that play call by Coach Roquet there, but we'll see if it stands.
Yeah, you have 3 defensive backs who are all backpedaling as Rodriguez is getting rid of that football, and that's what you want.
They were sold like I was, and I would have been backpedaling if I saw the receiver screaming up the field like that. I really like that play call. Get a good completion, pick up a nice chunk. The penalty might add to it here, or perhaps give Jersey an automatic first down. We'll see.
Well, I think it was against the Stampede, and they're talking about the result of the play or not.
They're still discussing it as the sticks.
Well, I think it was a choice between taking the result of the play, Joe, or no, maybe not.
I think they added yards to the end of the play, which would indicate a personal foul after the play was over. There's no other way you're getting 5 yards added, right?
Well, it was a 5-yard addition.
They're going further than 5.
No.
Oh, just
5
the
yards
first down marker.
after the result of the play.
I thought they were bringing both. So
it's a first
maybe
down.
an illegal hands to the face, but that would be an automatic first down.
Maybe.
What adds 5 to the end of that play?
Maybe an inadvertent face mask, maybe?
But that would be more than 5, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know if the AL has the inadvertent kind and the personal foul kind.
All right, either way, it's a first down. Jersey will take it. 2 receivers in motion. Rodriguez looking. Good pocket. Throws out of bounds.
Yeah, he threw it away.
Heads up in the stands. Souvenir time.
Yeah, that time, again, the Stampede left Hezekiah Frazier open in the kind of the low flat on the far side of your screen. He was just kind of hanging out 3 or 4 yards up the field, and Rodriguez just thought the wiser, just get rid of the football there. Don't let Frazier take a huge hit. Maybe didn't pick him up, but he was the outlet, the safety on that play because the deep ball just wasn't there.
2nd and 10. Ball at the Steel City 18-yard line. One receiver in motion. Handoff from Ward, looking for running room, won't find any. And he nearly got away, but a good job to stay with him and complete the tackle.
And we're going to see that one again too, Joe. We'll try to see it in slow motion perhaps. But that was a little bit of a funky delivery there, or a handoff. I don't know if we'll see it because we might have gotten screened by the speaker here. But yeah, that was kind of behind Ward a little bit. And it goes for about a 1-yard loss, so it'll be 3rd down and 11.
3rd down, 11 to go. 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. It's a really big drive for Jersey. 2 receivers in motion. Rodriguez looking downfield, throws, end zone, high, off the glass, and incomplete. Can't do that as much as the Stampede would have liked to.
Absolutely. Bacon was like, look what I found. Can I do anything with it? He looked right at the official and was like, can I do something? And the official was like, no, you cannot. But it'll be a 4th down and 11. And this is a big, big play here for both sides. You got a Bearcats team that's 0 for 2 in this half on offense. And if they don't convert here, the clock will stop with plenty of time in this game. And for the Stampede, man, this would be a big swell. They gave up 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives of the game for the Bearcats. And since then, they only gave up the 1 touchdown. And I think over the last 4 or 5 drives. And huge, huge play here.
4th down Bearcats. Once again, 2 receivers in motion. Rodriguez pumps, rolls right, running out of time. And he takes a hit, but won't get nearly enough for the first down. And Dave, the Stampede defense has really stepped it up here in the second half.
Yes, they have. And I think what really helps there, Joe, is that you bring no added pressure. So you have 5 guys in the defensive backfield all matched up. And then so Rodriguez knows that, and he says, look, I have an opportunity here to take off and run. There is a spy about 10, 15 yards down the field, but coming up and making a beautiful open field tackle was Brian Gibson. He gets full flowers for that great tackle, gives the ball back to the Stampede, and wouldn't you know it, Joe, 8:49 to go, down by only 2. The Stampede not only are they breathing, but they have new life and they have full momentum going into this drive.
And they have a timeout to talk things over before they get things started, as we've reached our 4th quarter timeout. And it's just about time to think about where we are going to eat after the game. And we know where the lucky winners of this game are going. It's Applebee's of Linden. And Applebee's of Linden is sponsoring a free dinner for 2 for every Jersey Bearcats home game this season. And with amazing drink specials and delicious food, it's where we all should be headed after the game. Make sure to visit our friends at Applebee's of Linden, located at 671 West Edgar Road in Linden. With eat-in, car side to go, and delivery options, we've got the food covered. Visit Applebee's and tell them the Jersey Bearcats sent you.
It's potato sack race time, Joe.
Should I try my hand at sack race play-by-play? Now, I see 4 potato sacks and only 3 contestants.
Well, I only want you to do it if you're going to be like Kevin Harlan and explain every single thing that's happening.
Every little detail? So you're saying I need to go into radio mode.
John Burgos, he's trying to get a contestant. He takes off the padding. He's trying to get that door open, Joe. They're having some problems.
Take it away, Dave.
I just can't do it. He's just too talented for me.
The door is locked. Time is running out.
The door is locked. Carm.
I have dinner reservations at Applebee's of Linden. We got to get moving.
Now, if they get Carm to do the potato sack race, I'm going to be very impressed with John Burgos.
It looks like that's where we're headed.
Yes, she is the 3rd contestant, Joe.
4th now.
Oh, 4th. Okay. Yes, I didn't see the 3rd one there. But I'll tell you what, Joe, we should give a shout out to the Bearcats and Jermaine Sanders and John Burgos, who do all these entertainments during timeouts and stuff, get the crowd involved. The Bearcats also have a theme night for each game. Tonight's theme night was Greek night, fraternities and sororities, and we had a discounted tickets for anybody who showed up in their Greek attire. So there's always something going on here in Roselle. Bearcats, of course, franchises like theirs survive on ticket sales, and so we really want you to come out and support the Bearcats. We love it when you're tuned into us, obviously, and watching us here, but if you're in the area, please come out, support these young men, support the Lady Bearcats as well. Joe, I learned something on Bearcats Blitz, one of our shows that we do on PDF as well, that one of the Lady Bearcats is now working with the Boston Celtics on their dance team.
Very nice.
So, just terrific. Got her start here with the Jersey Bearcats and the Lady Bearcats team. So what a great story that is. So congratulations to her on being a new dancer for the Boston Celtics NBA franchise. Terrific.
Oftentimes the AAL2 a stepping stone to something even greater. As the Stampede take over, and Harris almost got away, but he is brought down from behind. 2 Bearcats in on the tackle there. Coleman and a number 55 who is not on our roster.
Yeah, and Harris is down, Joe, and he had the full weight of 55 on him. There's the weight coming down on that knee, and that's a tough sell right there. I'm just trying by process of elimination to see who number 55 is, but I'm just not sure. I think Dwayne Larkin is wearing 73. Just can't be sure. We should mention, Joe, that in your screen you see number 44, Jervon Young. Jervon was a member of the Bearcats the last couple of seasons and got a call up to another league and is back here with the Bearcats. This is his first game back with the Bearcats. So, we're going to throw it down to Cam, I believe, Joe, who might have some more information.
Yeah, guys, so big play down here, big shoulder check. Number 12, Reen, is now down with a shoulder injury. Seems to be pretty major, and it might take him out of the game here. He's still down on the ground, as you can see. Big-time shoulder issue. Grabbed his shoulder. Trainer's out there with his shoulder right now. Believed it popped out of his shoulder. We'll see what comes next. Guys, back to you.
All right, so I don't think there's a worse injury you can have as a quarterback than a shoulder, especially if it's that throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
So it didn't look good. It doesn't look good right now. And it appears as if we're going to have a change at quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you give it up for these kids too, Joe. Like you mentioned, being a part of the AAL2 and the Bearcats leads to bigger things. Well, let's not forget, this is still developmental football in the arena side. Now, I would say, and I think most people around the country would agree, that the AAL2 is a pretty high, significant developmental league in arena, Joe. There's not a lot of arena leagues that are feeding, the pro leagues the way the AAL2 is. So kudos to that. But these guys are, this is their shot for a lot of them to impress at the next level, whether it's in the outdoor game or the arena, the NAL, the AFL, any of the paid leagues, the ENTFLA that's going to debut next month as well. So a lot of these guys, this is just one big, giant tryout for them for paid league. So whenever you see a kid go down with an injury like this, it's just it's tough to see, and we wish, Kareem the best there as he's still on the ground here.
And not only do we hate to see it happen, but it happened while he was playing really well. Things got off to a shaky start, threw an interception on his first drive in the game. Ball came out of his hand a bit awkwardly. That pass was picked. But since then, he's really put together a couple of nice drives for this Stampede offense, and they have the ball trailing by just 2 with plenty of time left.
Yeah.
So this game, very well within reach for Steel City. We don't have any updates from the other game, but they could be looking at the potential to avoid facing this Jersey team again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Joe, if the Stampede win this game, not only could they earn themselves the 3rd seed, but it really puts the East, truly up for grabs. You would at that point, if the Stampede come back and win, at that point you would have had the Bearcats losing to the 3rd place team and the 4th place team this season, including one of those losses in their own arena, and they were 45 seconds away from losing that game against the Roughnecks as well. They had to score in the final 30 seconds to win that game after being down by 1 in the 4th. So, the East is wide open right now as far as I could tell, and this is not the same Stampede team that lost 33-0 a few weeks ago.
Certainly not. And we spoke about just how successful the Bearcats have been against Steel City entering this game. They've only lost to them once, 1-5 all time, as we saw in our graphic during the pregame. But Steel City, the last 2 games against Jersey, outscored 73-0.
Yeah.
So that is obviously something they were looking to change entering this evening, and they've done that. Can they come away with a win? That's the big question mark that remains. And if you're Steel City, you'd love to shock the Bearcats again on their home turf. Wouldn't be the first time they've done that. They still need another score to make it happen.
Now, it's good to see Harris getting up under his own power, Joe, but he is in obvious pain. That right shoulder / arm, they're going to look to work on him sideline. But without a doubt, we will see Gordy Corbin come back in at quarterback, and indeed, he will be the one operating out of the shotgun here.
It is 2nd down and about 12 for the Stampede offense, trailing by 2, clock running just outside of 8 minutes. Corbin, under pressure, gets away, looking for somewhere to go. Flag flies, and he is tackled in the end zone. If this play stands, it will be a safety.
Well, no signal yet for safety, Joe, but that should be a safety. I don't know why there was no signal here.
It is holding against Steel City. That will be declined, and this should be a safety.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. He's in the end zone.
He's got to get rid of the ball, Dave.
In the end zone. Yeah, he's in the end zone. And did we get? Yes, now we got the signal.
We get the call. So Corbin comes back into the game and immediately commits a critical error.
Yeah, and, he did such a great job of getting away from the first guy. I thought he was just going to launch it or just throw it out of bounds. But you just have to have the sense there, Joe. You have to know where you are on the field. And, that one is definitely on Corbin because he had every opportunity to get rid of that ball and just flat out didn't. And, look, 2 points in the grand scheme of things, Joe. It's not the worst thing in the world, but now you can't allow a Bearcat score. At least before, if the Bearcats score a touchdown, if you block the extra point or don't allow the extra point, it's still an 8-point game. Now you have to keep them off the scoreboard, and then you're still just 1 score away.
You cannot allow a safety there, Dave. You can't do it.
And you kind of feel bad for Corbin because he got thrust into that position, but as a quarterback who obviously played a whole half of football today, you got to know better there. So that's on him, and he knows that he's played a really good game. Otherwise, he's played defense as well and has been really sound there. But, yeah, that's a costly one, and you have to surrender the ball back to the Bearcats as well. So
that one really hurts if you're Steel City. And now the Bearcats will get it back with 7.5 to go, leading by 4. A touchdown, as you said, Dave, now makes it a 2-score game, regardless of whether or not they get the 2-point conversion. So chance here for Jersey to potentially put this game away.
Yeah, for sure, especially if they could take some solid time off the clock. Obviously, if they score on one play or something like that, the Stampede are still very much in the game. But first things first, they have to try and get a score in this half, as that one is drilled only about 10 or 15 yards upfield, Joe.
Now, if it hits the pads and bounces, it's live?
You know, I don't know. I guess so, because, we've seen this before where they called it dead as soon as it's hit. But it hit at about the 13-yard line and bounced towards the 17, and that ball spotted at the 16. So, to me, based on where it's spotted, that ball was live.
Because if you can angle that to then bounce off a member of the return team, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It becomes a free-for-all at that point. But the Bearcats have it at the 16, as Dave mentioned, and a chance to make this a 2-score game, 6:50 to play. Handoff to Ward, and almost fumbled as Ward is tackled for a gain of maybe 1.
And another flag, Joe, on top of it all.
They cannot afford to move backwards on this drive.
Well, the positive thing I was going to say is that when the Bearcats have gotten opening field position in the Stampede end of the field, they've been 3 for 4. They've scored 3 touchdowns, and 1 they turned over on downs. And this is going to be a penalty against the Stampede. It's going to move the ball up 5 yards.
All right, so it is not against Jersey. And if you're the Bearcats here, at the very least, pin Steel City back. If you don't score, it's still a touchdown game. Keep them pinned back and make them go the length of the field. They've had trouble going the full length of the field, really sustaining drives. It's been a couple of quick strikes that have helped them get back in this game.
1st down and 5. Or is it 2nd? And now the placard reads 2nd. No, it's 1st down. It's 1st down.
2 receivers in motion. Rodriguez looking. Throws. Incomplete. Nobody home.
Ooh. That was dangerous.
Yeah. Sure was. Bacon almost had another.
Yeah, and that one just was a misfire. I don't know if Rodriguez expected the receiver to go a little further down in his route, maybe a 7-yard curl instead of a 5-yard curl, but it's just put in a bad location.
They're still talking about down and distance here, Dave.
No, it's 2nd, and I saw the official try to correct the chain gang before and just couldn't sync up with him, but it is 2nd. At the end of that play, they put up the 2 sign. So,
all right. We are inside of 5 minutes to go now. 4:55 remaining. The Jersey lead is 4. It is 2nd and 5. Man in motion once again. It is Stewart. Toss. Ward. Running room. Cuts up field. Heads for the end zone and scampers in for the touchdown.
And the best part of that, Joe, no flags, as the Bearcats have used that play 2 or 3 times in this game, and it has been functional each time. And finally, Ward is in the end zone on the ground today. The running back of record for this game. Talked about it during pregame and turns one into 6 here. And is it going to be enough to put the Bearcats past the Stampede? We'll have to see.
The lead is 10. The clock is still running. We are now left with 4 minutes remaining. And we have an altercation here along the sideline. And we had one Stampede player in the midst of many, many Bearcats there.
It was Xavier Unique, who I think had some words for the Bearcats bench as he was getting to his own and got locked up with a couple of guys. Well, Joe, we mentioned this is the longest standing rivalry in the AAL2. And remember, these teams were rivals even before the AAL2. In the AAL, in the previous rendition of the AAL, the Reading Raptors organization, a lot of guys have spilled over. So this is a team, listen, they have a lot of mutual respect for one another, but there's also a lot of bad blood between these two teams as well.
They separate the two teams with 3:52 on the clock as the Bearcats will attempt an extra point. And now, words being exchanged again.
Now it's coaches and players. And I think the Bearcats have to do a better job here of not engaging. Just go back. Now, obviously, they're in the Bearcats area.
officials now getting in the middle of both teams. And now a flag comes out.
Oh, I think that was going to happen. Here's another one. Hats
and
are going.
Hat. Oh, yeah. We may have some ejections here.
Possibly. And I don't know, I know. I thought at one point A.J. Roquet got ejected, but he's just hot because his team has got out of hand. We've got some security on the field as well. I like Coach Santiago on his side, Joe, kind of laughing with his team, saying, guys, get out of here. Go on. And a couple of their guys are being sent to the locker room, Joe.
Yeah, we had some ejections.
Yep.
It'll be difficult to discern every player who was ejected, but there were at least 2.
We're going to lean on Cameron Williams, to give us that information if he gets it. So we have one ejection definitely on the Stampede side.
Well, there are some players returning now.
Well, I think only one got ejected, and I think that was Xavier Unique. He was the one who started it all.
Meanwhile, we await the extra point as the officials are still discussing things with the Bearcats bench here.
Well, whatever penalty yardage is assessed, it's going to be assessed on the kickoff, the result of the kickoff. Usually teams have a choice to take the penalty yardage here or to take it on the kickoff.
Well, good luck to whoever has to decipher whether these are offsetting or what the net positive negative is for both sides.
I think the Stampede got one extra one. They had 2 personal fouls this way for the Stampede, only 1 for the Bearcats.
You figured that all out without the official microphone?
Just on the hieroglyphics of the...
All right. That's good work.
The official, I was going to say by the guy with the white hat, but there is no white hat in this game. Starego trying to make it 3 out of 4.
And that kick is another line drive blocked and immediately whistled dead. So you cannot return a block kick. They didn't blow it dead before.
Joe, the league rules as I know them and as I've read them is that you can.
I just
don't know if there's just not knowledge of it here. It's just not sure. But in any event, Starego's 2 for 4 on extra point attempts. And it'll remain a 10-point game. So a 2-score game no matter how you cut it. The clock is stopped with 3:35 to go. And the Stampede, which has done some really great things from the middle part of the second quarter on, are going to need, I don't want to call it a miracle here, Joe, but they're going to need a quick score, a big stop or a turnover, and another one to win this game.
The safety derailed the game, Dave.
Yeah, it was
you
tough.
Set the Bearcats up right in front of the end zone, and it just was a complete breakdown there. And it was unfortunate because Corbin came in not expecting to be in for that play. However, he did have plenty of time to get ready because, unfortunately, on the play prior, Harris ended up down for an extended period. He was down for a while. So they had a lot of time to get situated. 3:35 to go. Stampede will need a couple of scores. They will need them quickly. By our count, Steel City has 2 timeouts remaining. Starego's kick on its way. Line drive.
Good kick.
One bounce into the end zone. Have to pick it up. Weidman working toward the middle of the field. Avoids one man and another. He's heading for the sideline and is finally pushed into the Bearcats bench. Good run back there by Weidman.
Yeah, well, he's been an electric player in this game. Although I believe that was the defensive number 1,
right.
Joe, Justin Haynes. Weidman was the wide receiver who made the 2 electrifying catches for touchdowns. But still a nice job, though, by Haynes. I knew it was a good kick as soon as Starego got into it and it was allowed to hit the turf. It was going to take a nice bounce. It sure did. And good blocking downfield. No flags again. But if you notice, Joe, the ball's being backed up, and that's as a result of the personal foul. So it's a half the distance. Puts the ball at about the 4-yard line when it should have been probably at about the 8. Actually, it looks like right at the 5-yard line stripe.
All right, so the clock is running. We are inside of 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the Stampede trail by 10, 2-score game.
And now you can't ground and pound anymore. So now if you're the Bearcats, you could send that extra rusher. You can pin your ears back and go for Corbin, who was sacked in the end zone last time.
They need a quick strike here, Dave. No time to waste. Backed up at their own 5. Steel City trails 28-18. Pre-snap motion, fumbled, handoff, and Ransom is tackled in the end zone for another safety. Complete disaster strikes once again for Steel City.
Just a bad handoff, a bad exchange. I'm not sure who is to blame on the exchange. I think we'll get a better look at it after this replay. We'll see. I think that's on the running back right there. It looked like a pretty solid handoff, but Ransom just could not control. He was lucky just to get back on it and make it only 2 points instead of the full 6. But the Bearcats starting to get more and more comfortable here with 1:51 to go. We knew they were going to be the 1 seed no matter what. The only thing in question was going to be whether the Stampede could put a wrench into their plans going into the playoffs, and did some good things here, Joe, but some glaring mistakes when they needed big plays the most.
We've spoken about how self-inflicted wounds have hurt the Bearcats. The Stampede really hamstrung themselves late in this game with those 2 safeties.
Yeah.
The first certainly did not need to happen, and obviously that one could have been avoided if the handoff is taken cleanly. So Steel City now with 1:51. Never say never, but
yeah,
it is going to be tough. What was the deficit 2 years ago?
I think it was 16, I think. Or no, maybe not.
3 scores. It might have been 21.
Scores. Well, it was 20 with like 8 minutes left or 6 minutes left, something like that.
Either way, it appears we are headed for a meeting between these 2 teams again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, maybe, Joe. We have to see what happens with Maryland. Stampede could still finish in 3rd if Maryland loses, and depending on how many points get scored, because right now the Stampede they're most likely going to fall to 3 and 5.
Right. Yeah.
Maryland with a loss also at 3 and 5.
Right.
And you know what, Joe? The Stampede did beat Maryland twice, so the Stampede will be in 3rd,
right,
unless Maryland wins tonight.
Kick return here for the Bearcats, shaping up nicely, and brought down was Mel Reed out across midfield.
Yeah, another new addition to this Bearcats team. Joined the Bearcats last week, Joe. Didn't really play much in last week's game. I don't even think he played at all, with the exception of special teams. But, you know, the Bearcats now, with 1:26 remaining, the clock is counting, so we're going to hit the 1-minute warning, perhaps even before.
1:15 and counting. Bearcats will look to wrap up a victory to conclude the regular season, 7-1. A loss would drop Steel City to 3 and 5.
1-minute warning, Joe.
And with that, the officials will wait for a stoppage. The teams are not leaving the field. Right back to action.
Yeah, good.
Keep it moving, they say. 2 receivers in motion. Rodriguez looking downfield, has time. Stands tall in the pocket, delivers over the middle. Reed has it. May have been grabbed by the helmet. He stays on his feet. Flag flies. Reed still going. Reed still going. Touchdown Bearcats as Reed has his helmet ripped off in the end zone. What an introduction to this offense from Mel Reed.
You don't think this matters? You know, in the closing moments, the game is just about in hand regardless. Mel Reed doesn't think so. He's looking for more playing time, and this is how you get it. Look at this almost shot that Rodriguez took, and then one man and a face mask gets away from 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys. The 4th guy for the second time. Wow.
What a play by Reed.
Amazing. And the clock is still running, which it shouldn't, but this game is over. if they let it go.
All right, the final will be 37-18. 37-18 with the extra point. And the Bearcats will wrap up the regular season with a win over the Steel City Stampede. Dave, at times it was shaky. The Stampede had a chance with possession trailing by just 2. But in the end, the Bearcats once again took care of business on their home turf. No losses here at Waranenko this year as they knock off Steel City by 19.
Yeah, it got a little hairy, but you know what? When push came to shove in the closing moments, the Jersey Bearcats defense made a couple of really big plays, and that, of course, led to the offense getting a punctuation mark and making this game look a lot more comfortable than maybe what it was in the midway point of the third quarter. But the rivals, a rivalry renewed, but the Jersey continue to hold serve in the series. They just have won every game since that opener in 2023, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be back here in 2 weeks. We have to see what happened with the Maryland versus Jersey Roughnecks game. But, Joe, we should mention to our viewers that the playoff game here will be in 2 weeks, but it will not be on Saturday. It will be on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Jersey will have a home game. It'll be the Eastern Division semifinals. Their opponent is TBA, but it'll be Friday. I believe that's June, I don't even want to guess, June 19th maybe? What? No idea. But anyway, it'll be the Friday night in 2 weeks.
Don't look at me. But speaking of...
for you to bail me out.
Speaking...
Stone face over here.
The good news is I can find out with the click of a button. 2 weeks from now, Friday, will be the 20th.
All
so
right.
close.
I knew it all along. Just testing you, Joe.
All right. Meanwhile, you mentioned when push comes to shove. Thankfully, this one ends in handshakes. As always, we throw it down to Cam Williams with our player of the game, Kyle Ward.
Yeah, guys, here player of the game, Kyle Ward. Kyle, 2 huge touchdowns, one being a one-handed catch in the end zone. In a running game, you came in for Nas Adams, who wasn't playing today, inactive. You came in and showed your absolute heart out. How do you feel after this game?
I feel great. Like I said, we need to catch momentum going into playoffs. That's exactly what we did.
100%. There was a couple calls that didn't go your way, and a couple plays that penalties that kind of cost you guys. How'd you guys face that adversity?
Just like any football player, whenever there's adversity, that's the opportunity to come up and make it to the next level. So, like I said, when adversity came, we had the next play mentality, and we made it happen the next play.
100%. Got a little chippy at the end there, right there. But at the end of the day, it's what the scoreboard matters. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But it's football. Any competitors is going to get chippy like that. You know what I'm saying? It's an aggressive, hard game. Everybody wants to win. So that's expected against this team.
100%. Kyle, thank you. Congratulations. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right. Thank you, Cam, and thank you to our player of the game, Kyle Ward. Now, something else that we caught sight of as the interview was taking place, Kareem Harris is being helped out of the facility right now, and it didn't look like he was able to walk out under his own power, so there might be an ambulance waiting for him outside the facility.
There is. I saw one pulling up to the thing, so our prayers are with him.
We wish him the best.
Yeah.
But as always, we have to wrap up the show with Coach K. We throw it down to Cam with our Coach K post-game wrap-up.
Yeah, guys, we got Coach K here for the Wrap It Up with Coach K, the greatest talk show in the AAL2. Coach K, huge win going into the playoffs here. How do you guys feel after this?
I mean, we feel pretty good. Obviously, there's a few things we got to button up. We're missing a few guys, but we got a next man up mentality. AJ's been preaching that since day one, since I've been here. Whether it's on special teams, offense, defense, next man, let's go. You guys got to see my man Melvin, come a little oozy over there, cutting and dicing up that defense. He was shooting for sure.
100%. I'm glad you said it. New player, only his second week playing with you guys, and that last play just shows the heart and the grit in him. That's a great acquisition, Coach.
He was all whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying? It's like Chris Berman out there. But, yeah, hell of a kid, got him on kickoff return, all heart, and he's athletic as all hell. Super blessed to have him.
Love it, Coach. Coach, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, elbow in if you see this. Time for bed.
Time for bed. Back it up to you guys. Thank you.
It is bedtime, says Coach K, and as always, that puts our broadcast to bed, Dave. Bearcats win it 37-18. Final thoughts before we sign off.
Well, listen, Joe, for me, the Stampede showed me a few things that, in the playoffs, things could be different. This is definitely a different team than it was 33-0 earlier in the season. It just goes to show that as long as you're improving with each game, you should feel comfortable. Every team in the AAL makes the playoffs, Joe, and to me, in my mind, the team that plays the best over the next 4 or 5 weeks, calendar weeks, is going to win a championship. It's not in the bag for the Bearcats. The Stampede should feel pretty good about the showing that they had here on the road. But, of course, the Bearcats finishing the regular season 7-1, they should feel pretty good that the road to a championship runs through Jersey right here in Roselle, and this is the right way to cap off a really stellar regular season.
For more on the AAL2 playoffs, you can tune in here on the PDF Sports Network. We will have all of the Jersey Bearcats playoff football as well as the championship, regardless of who it is playing in that championship. You have all of that to look forward to in the coming weeks. We'll be back here at Waranenko in 2 weeks. Opening round playoff matchup for the Bearcats in an Eastern Division Championship semifinal. Their opponent to be determined. That is our next broadcast for Bearcats football here on the PDF Sports Network. But tomorrow, Maple League Game of the Week for the first time, 1:30 p.m. kickoff here on PDF. Be sure to check that out. And until then, everyone enjoy the rest of your night. My name is Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto on the call tonight. Our camera operator, Pat, and our engineer, Alex. All thank you for watching. Our final score, the Bearcats 37 and the Stampede 18.